All right. I realized that my timer is still in game time, so I just need to fix that really quick. Oh, no, we're actually good. Look at that. All right, cool. Hi, my name is Jalbagel. I speedrun Monster Hunter games. This is Monster Hunter World. No, I'm just not going to worry about all of that. I'll just do this manually. We usually time this with in-game time. I have to set up like a little server, whatever. Just ignore all of that. This is Monster Hunter World. It's exactly what it sounds like, a monster hunting RPG game. All about just hunting stuff and exploring what they call the new world. I am ready whenever you guys are. It's kind of a long run, so we can talk about it as we go. But I'm ready when you guys are.
It is on you, my dude.
All right. Then give me 1 second here because I have to find my settings again. All right. Then I will start in. Oh, I need a controller for this game. Who knew? I'll start in 3, 2, 1, go. Oh, I hit the wrong button. Hold on, we can start that again. I have all of my foot pedals and everything disconnected, and of course, once I picked up my controller, I hit the wrong thing. All right, let's try this again. In 3, 2, 1, where's control? Go! All right, so this is Monster Hunter World. Like I said, a monster hunting action-adventure game set in, a place called the New World. One of the cool things about this speedrun is that it's not necessarily all about glitches, it's not about exploits, it's actually about precise execution. Take advantage of a lot of behind-the-scenes interactions with monsters, hunters, weapons, and all sorts. The route and the run that I'm going to be showcasing today is the world record route. So if I play really, really well, I'll get a world record that we won't be able to verify. But we'll get really close to it. My runs the past couple of days have been really good and dying to really dumb stuff. But shouldn't be any problem here. We got a lot of extra time in the estimate, so I get to play super greedy, and I will. So if you know anything about this game, there are 14 weapons in this game, and we are going to be using 2 of them in this run. The actual world record holder right now, Greenspeed, uses 3. Hey, look, it's Greenspeed. I don't do 3. I still stick with 2. We'll start with Switch Axe, and then we'll switch over to Sword and Shield towards the end of the game. I'll explain the benefits of them as we do them, and why we use each of those things. But the beginning of this is just kind of forced movement. We have some little checkpoints to reach here. We have to go in this direction. There's really no way to do this any faster other than good movement. We've been pretty good for the most part. I actually don't really know what kind of pace we're on though, because the timing for this game is done with in-game time using a load remover and a cutscene removal. Originally this game had unskippable cutscenes, and we finally got a mod to skip them 3 years later. The cutscenes in this game are approximately 1 hour and 3 minutes. And so just removing all of that from the real time makes it really nice. And even in the run, since it's still kind of a long run, right, on average 3 hours, we get a little built-in bathroom break. So here, we've landed in the ancient forest where the handler has made us an accessory to petty theft. We stole this map from that tent, and now we're criminals. But luckily there's no one really cares. So this is the game's more or less tutorial. It's going to be teaching us new mechanics they've introduced in this game, more notably the stealth mechanic, where I'm going to have to hide into a bush. If I get the good position, I don't have to hide in the bush at all. But I've always loved this game. It's the first Monster Hunter to come to main series, and the first main series Monster Hunter to come to PC. Or I should say main series like consoles, right? And I've been speedrunning this game for the better part of 3 years now, and seen it when it used to be its fastest at 4 hours and 20 minutes, which was the first time that I set a world record, to what it is now, which is under 2 hours and 35 minutes, which is absolutely insane. The category that we're using, I should actually talk about that, is called add-ons. The add-ons category allows us to use some equipment that they added after the fact in the game. Let me see if I can't get this position here. Doop. We're in that bush, right? But the add-ons category lets us use equipment that they added into the game to help new players quickly progress through the game. It's literally the speedrunner gear. It's armor that's tuned for early high rank. It's weapons that are tuned for early master rank. They are good, you know, and for speedrunning, removing the RNG associated with gathering to get upgrades and just the time associated with doing that stuff makes all the runs a lot more fun and a lot more consistent and a lot faster. So we use that, you know, just kind of as a default category. There's still a no add-ons category, which is still fun to run, just a lot riskier. Takes about an hour longer. But all of this movement here is just kind of meeting check marks and checkpoints. I did a little menuing there to set up the game with the settings that I like. Trying to think if there's anything else that I'm missing. There's a lot to this game, a lot of like really small things that we do that I'll try to explain. Especially because when it comes to hunts, I'll be quiet for the most part. Just waiting for that dialogue there. It's kind of a cue for me so I can start walking here again. All right. And, I mean, yeah, it's just kind of a really neat exploitation of the game. A lot of Monster Hunter speedrunning is taking the mechanics of the game, ripping them apart, and taking advantage of them. One of the ones that we're going to take advantage of wildly from the very beginning of the game all the way to the end is a mechanic called claw staggers, or claggers. We'll try to chain those together against certain monsters to make full scripts, you know, essentially just start to finish executed actions to hunt the monster as fast as possible. All right, so this is Astera. If you don't know, Monster Hunter games operate as hub worlds. So this is the main hub to the base game experience called Astera. This area has everything that we'll need in it, right? All of the kind of provisions that we'll need, all the little facilities that will facilitate our experience and our progression through the game. We'll have to talk to some NPCs throughout here. Right now, though, we're kind of taking advantage of the walk radius. Around that guy right there with the red marker above his head, we call him Matt Mercer because he's voiced by Matt Mercer. That's the field team leader, though. Whenever you have to follow an NPC, they have a walk radius around them. We're going to try to escape that walk radius as often as possible. There's a little like trigger for him to keep walking right there, so we have to stay there. And then that little invisible wall that you saw. The first really big exploit of this, though, is what I'm about to do here, which we call Mercer Skip. It's essentially just some precise movement to get around that walk radius. It saves like 25 seconds. It's really dumb. And it was probably one of the first like really big skips that we found, which is really funny to say, right? Because, you know, this game is very systematic. We've tried to break it even just in code to try to find like new skips and ways to skip long and, you know, arguably boring fights, and the entire game just falls apart, right? It's all spaghetti code. It's held together by duct tape and dreams. So this is a neat little thing, though. Just aiming at this corner here. We're going to walk towards this box, and then once we can start running, we're going to cut that corner and keep running past here. If we didn't do that, if we were stuck in the walk radius, we would be stuck there the entire time, walking next to Matt Mercer. So these little council scenes are kind of like required little scripted areas. It's really weird how these operate, right? I know, red timer. I just noticed that too. It made me anxious. It's a little weird how these operate. So you may notice that the language that I'm using isn't English, though my subtitles are in English. The way that text progresses in this game is actually an input to complete the text and then an input to skip it. So I'm actually mashing both, what is it, X and circle on my controller, accept and, you know, deny or cancel. I'm mashing them slightly staggered, so I do one and then like wait an input and then do another, to kind of get these really fast text clears in these moments where I have to mash. But there's some text that is required, that requires a a voice line to complete. And for that, we use the language, Monster Hunter language, which is like this weird amalgamation of Japanese translated into French phonetically and then back into Jap. It's weird. It's really weird. But it has the shortest VA dialogue, because like whole sentences are just like a single grunt, which is kind of funny. But it helps us, you know, kind of complete those council sessions a little bit quicker. All right, so the handler will have to come back to periodically to kind of accept our quests and go on to the next thing. But this is our first quest, our first actual hunt, which is called Jogress of the Ancient Forest. So this is actually, if you've ever seen me do a run at DPX before, this will look brand new. We're going to do a new strategy that Greenspeed came up with called Capris. It's capturing the Great Jogress. That requires us to do some different movement here to gather trap and trank materials. In this game, killing a monster, hunting a monster successfully to 0% health results in an end quest timer of 60 seconds. We can also capture a monster. Most of them, there's a couple of exceptions to the rule. But we can capture monsters at 30% health instead. And our end quest timer, instead of being 60 seconds, is 20 seconds. So it's a 40-second time difference, plus the difference to hunt that monster from 30% to 0%. It's huge time saves. It can be upwards of a minute to a minute and a half, 2 minutes. It's insane. So I'm going to do that, the first kind of required movement for that here, which is going and gathering materials to make a trap and tranquilizers. I'll explain it a little bit more after this, because I'm going to try to do some new positioning here that I've been trying to fix. And look at that, none of it worked. I get lucky here. All right, that one's dead. So all I have to do is just kill 2 here, and it takes advantage of AI to make them transition from that area out there into this cave. I then need to just kill 1 of these. Good. And then I can start leaving this cave. So what's happening here is that they're trying to come in, and then they're running into these like little pods of fire that I put onto the ground, which is killing them. It gives me extra time to make this cycle. I only have 60 seconds to run so very far. Like so very far to pick up materials that I'm going to need to capture Great Jogress. Fortunately, I didn't get an early clear, which is accidentally killing like all 4 of those Jogress, little green lizards that jump down. Instead, I only killed 1 and started running, which is phenomenal. That's great. That's perfect. So I'm going to grab some more sleep herbs here. I grabbed parashrooms. These spider webs are going to become traps. The sleep herbs and parashrooms become tranquilizers. You need to use 2 tranquilizers and a trap to capture a monster, and they're all on a timed, you know, kind of thing. Just give me 1 second here to do this menu. I might actually be able to get all of this since I got here early, which means I don't have to do it later. Nice. Yeah, I'm just missing 2 things, which I can do later. That's perfect. That's great. All right, so we got those materials now. We now have our end reward screen, which I'm always going to be checking for some things. I need iron ore, and I need a green bone, which is called an ancient bone, as well as some small monster bones. I got none of that there, so this is looking great. This is looking fantastic. It's not absolutely needed. It does make things a lot easier when it comes to scripts later in the game. But for right now, this is all looking okay. I need that 1 trap tool right there to make a pitfall trap later, which is one of the items that I put on my radial menu, which is kind of like a quick menu system. That's on there now, so I can kind of make it while I'm also running around and moving. So this is the smithy. We'll talk to this guy a few times in the run, but this is where we upgrade and forge new equipment. I'm going to be making my defender weapon. The defender gear, if you're familiar with this game, or if you aren't, right, I guess I'm going to explain it. Defender gear was made to kind of help new players progress through the game quickly. This weapon is so overtuned for the game. It is absolutely insane. Every weapon in this category, you know, is really overtuned, except for probably like bow, hunting horn, and the bow guns, right? You know, they're all real good. So this is the first hunt, large monster hunt. It starts off with a quest called Kessedon Kerfuffle, which is a great quest name, and ends with hunting the Great Jogress. If you have any donations or anything like that, just interrupt me, right? I can talk the entire time if I really need to.
That's totally fair. We do have one donation that came in from Zethros for $10. The comment, no more blazing, sad days, finally broke us off the 420 on the donations. And that went towards the Hollow Knight randomized lever placement target. So I guess I should talk about the targets here. We have a few left to meet. We have met the True Pacifist requirement for Undertale, so we'll get a True Pacifist run. We still have the Muffet Fight incentive that needs met. We still need to finish the randomized lever placement incentive. Both of those, I believe, are very attainable $100 incentives. And then for Hollow Knight, there's a second incentive that I believe is at $250, which is Path of Pain. And then that's currently at $8.36. So we have, before Undertale, we've got the rest of Monster Hunter World, and then we've got Super Metroid. So there's plenty of time to hit those. And then an update on Save and Kill the Animals. Speaking of Super Metroid, Save is currently in the lead, $241 to $38. And real quick, just a friendly reminder, DogPoundSpeedrunning and DogPoundUkraine are currently raising money for Save the Children's Ukraine Relief Fund. Millions of children are dying from preventable causes. They face poverty, violence, disease, and hunger, and they're caught up in war zones and disasters they did nothing to create. With that, they're denied an education and other basic rights owed to them. During the war in Ukraine, Save the Children is supporting children still in Ukraine with online mental health sessions and distributing items to families. So a wonderful cause, raising money for people who are definitely in need.
Very, very good cause. Very amazing cause. Great cause. The best cause, some would say. All right. So this is the new movement that was kind of made to be able to capture Great Jagras here. I still need a few things to be able to capture them. More specifically, I need Ivy. That was kind of always the limiting factor, is where do we get a trap to be able to capture Great Jagras here? And also the tranks, right? We had to get really creative, you know, on where to find this stuff and how to get there. And, you know, making time losses early to capture this thing does actually result in about a 40-second time save. But now we have our nets, we have a pitfall trap, and we have this lizard walking under Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Environmental effects, they do 50%, excuse me, 50. They do, oh my gosh, I can't remember, 10% the monster's health. But the environmental effects do static damage and also create this long knockdown. It also has animation priority. You can see that he's not falling into the trap that I just put onto the ground. Good, that hit. So I'm going to sidestep here. He's going to fall into that trap, and the timer for the trank is still running. So I need to... There we go, perfect. I need to kill him before it ends. And that was more or less flawless. You'll see that I'll probably, if I'm in the middle of a sentence, I'll probably stop mid-sentence if I'm doing that Clutch Clagger ZSD. Clutch Claw ZSD is what we call it. The ZSD is zero-sum discharge. It's that big, glowy, kind of explosive axe mode thing that I did on the Great Jagras' face. That's just what makes this weapon so good and so consistent in this speedrun. Alright, I got some ancient bones there. I didn't see how many small bones that I got, but those should be pretty easy to get throughout the rest of the run. We have a lot of different opportunities for that. Alright, so up next is an expedition. This is for Kuliaku. There's a little bit of RNG here associated with a roaming monster. And hopefully we kind of bypass that. What's really cool about this speedrun, which I've always liked, is how convenient the route is, right? Like, we need to get traps, like trap tools by this moment. Well, good thing the provision, you know, the provision stock manager, whatever his name is, the shop is right there on the way of talking to this NPC. It's insane of just like how convenient all this stuff is. All right. So this is an expedition. Expeditions are a little bit different from quests in that they don't have a timer. Quests have a 50-minute timer that you have to complete. These don't have timers. Additionally, you don't fail the mission after you faint 3 times. Instead, you just keep getting sent back to camp. Anjanath is here, which is kind of unfortunate. It just requires us to move a little bit differently here. I'm going to point my camera away from him, too, to avoid a 2.5 second time loss. If we spot him, we get some weird dialogue later. So all we have to do is just turn our camera away and not get too close to him. If we get too close to him, too, it spots him, even though we don't look at him. I'm also looking at my stamina management. Like other action-adventure games, stamina is what you use to run. Luckily, this armor set that we're using has a skill on it called Marathon Runner, which means we don't use as much stamina when we are doing actions that consume stamina continuously, like running. And I also have these nifty rations to just immediately reset my bar, right? It is, once again, very nice, very convenient. So the next monster that we're going to fight here is called Kuliyaku. It has a really cool AI mechanic. When it gets flashed, it stands perfectly still. So we can use that to kind of script out this section. I'll probably get quiet here just for a moment while I do this script. If I do it wrong, I have to kind of ad-lib and make up damage. But I'll try to get it right. It should just be a ground combo that starts the Clagger, and then a Clutch Claw ZSD into another Clagger, into another Clutch Claw ZSD, and then I capture it. Should just be that easy. Get flashed. Good. I didn't miss. And then the second hit here will Clagger him. Just gonna walk forward and ZSD. And ZSD again. All right, perfect. So we can do 1, 2. Cool. So that's also a small optimization that I did right there. I can put the tranks down first and then place a trap. I need to do all 3 of those, use all 3 of those items to capture a monster, right? So I could do them in either, order. I can, do a trank, a trap, and a trank, the trap, and then the tranks, which is usually what happens, or the tranks first and then the trap, which is called a pre-trank. But it's a cool little optimization right there to do the tranks first, and then in the animation of placing the trap, navigate to the menu to leave the expedition. Because once it's captured, you can leave the expedition and you complete it. You can leave too soon. It's happened before. It's really sad. But it's just a neat little optimization. All right, so this is...
You know when a good time to jump in with a donation is?
Immediately after this quest, we have a lot of downtime. It's an auto-scroller. We can definitely talk about it there. All right?
Perfect.
So this is Pookie Pookie. This is probably the first, actual fight of the run. There is RNG associated with a roaming Anjanath on this map. It's 50-50 chance, but some weeks it feels like it's 100% that he's going to be there, and some weeks it feels like he's never there. I need to have an amp state before he enrages, so I can ZSD through his roar, and then ZSD when he flies. It looks like we didn't get Anjanath, thank goodness, and this one starts out with a wall bang. So this is a unique mechanic added in Iceborne, which allows us to kind of manipulate how the monster is standing. Give me 1 second here. Perfect. And then good, I got good AI. Have to end that one a little bit soon because I got the Clagger early off of a blast. 1, 2. I'm counting to 2 there to space out my ZSD timing. So I can end it when he's able to be CC'd again, right? When he could be Claggered again. Alright, so that's done. Just kind of roll here. I'm not going to be able to get that. I am just going to put this down, though, because he is cap ready. That's 3 ZSDs, and we're good to go. Whoop. All right, now we're good to go. That's just how tight some of the damage is here. But yeah, so that Clutch Claw also has a mechanic called the wall bang to it. When I have a slinger ammo like this stuff, I can use it to launch a monster into a wall, into another monster off of a ledge. We use that for openers for scripts, and it also does a fixed amount of HP. I think it's like 2%, but we really don't care about the damage that it does. That has ore. I want that. I need, at the end of this, 6-7 pieces of iron ore, and I have not gotten a lot. Alright, so the next quest is the best kind of quest, which is by all rights the worst kind of quest because, as we just mentioned, it is an auto-scroller.
That's what you meant by downtime.
Yep, it's an auto-scroller. The nice thing about this, though, is that we gather probably 70% of the materials that we need for the entire run right here. So, while this... Also, remember how I have that really cool mod that allows me to skip cutscenes? This is the only cutscene we can't skip. There's some weird interaction in AI with the quest. If we skip this cutscene, the quest soft locks. So we just made it in the mod that this is the only one that you can't skip. Literally every quest in the game, from start to finish, you know, beginning of the game all the way to the end to Iceborne, and even post-game to Fatalis, can be skipped with this mod, except for this one, which is hilarious to me. But now is a great time to read donations. Any other announcements that you have? We have a lot of downtime here, so have at it.
Excellent. We received an anonymous $100 donation with no comment, but it did meet the Undertale Muffet Fight incentive in full.
Let's go.
So we have Undertale True Pacifist Run with the Muffet Fight, and then we still have our 2 Hollow Knight incentives coming, and then the Save and Kill Bid War. As a reminder, with any donation you make, you can both pay towards an incentive and put money towards the bid war for save kill. You don't have to pick one or the other, so you can do both if you would like. That's the only new one we've got, but another quick reminder, DogPoundSpeedrunning is benefiting Save the Children, their efforts in the Ukraine. The crisis has already forced at least 1.5 million people from their homes, and over 400,000 children currently live in the conflict zone. So the efforts in Save the Children are certainly a big help to all of them. And anything you guys are able and willing to donate is much appreciated by us here at DogPound Speedrunning, as well as by Save the Children and the people in the Ukraine benefiting from it.
Okay. So, like I said, it's an auto-scroller. It doesn't look like an auto-scroller, right? Not like your traditional sense. So there is a cart that we have to, air quotes, escort around this area called the Wildspire Waste. Actually, my second favorite area in this game. But the cart, we have to meet certain checkpoints with. We just have to, you know, more or less be next to them at certain instances. So everywhere else in between there, we're going to take advantage of and do a lot of gathering. That's parashrooms, spider webs, sleep herb. I'm going to do a lot of mining here. We're trying to get... I know I at least have 3 iron ore. I want that to say 7. So it's 4, 5... So we just need 2 more, and this quest and the next ones can also give it to me. Look at that. We got the RNG we needed. That's actually great. The iron ore is going to be used later to craft another defender weapon and a piece of equipment called the High Metal Greaves, which gives us a level of heavy artillery, which makes cannons stronger, which will be useful on the second Zora Madros fight. So this is that first kind of checkpoint that we have to reach, which is really easy to get to, but it does kind of get a little tight when we start doing all the extra mining and gathering, as well as going into the tent and doing some inventory management, getting more trap tools. You know, it gets a little tight. Even the no add-ons route for this is really difficult. Like, the no add-ons route is even tighter because it's like that all the way to the end of the quest. You have to meet every checkpoint exactly and gather the things as fast as possible. you know, from start to finish. Your movement has to be perfect here, or you end up losing time, and then you miss out on, you know, materials to grab, which in no add-ons is a lot more, you know, necessary. Small optimization here to open up that book while we wait for this checkpoint. So just being right here spawns Rathian, and this Rathian right here is what softlocks us. It just, I can't remember if it just like never appears, or if this cutscene never starts, or the cutscene does start and then the caravan just doesn't move. But there was something, it just softlocked us right there. So I've kind of gone through and done my gathering route once, and now we get to do it again. The really nice thing is that the timer for all of these things lines up to how long it takes to do all of that. Why isn't this working? That's how that works. All right, we're good. But the timer for that kind of lines up with all this. I think I just put my... No, we have Mega Potions. We're good. I guess I just put my regular potions or something else back that I might have needed. I don't know what just happened there. Just double checking, make sure I have everything. It looks like I do. Yeah, we should be fine. Who knows? It'll be fine. I'm also gathering these red things. They're these might seeds. They're a small attack bonus that helps us. We can actually like make even more items that raise our attack power. But with Switch Axe, this is why we use Switch Axe, we count everything by the number of ZSDs it takes to finish the fight. If doing something doesn't cut out a ZSD, it's not worth it. So, making all of those extra, you know, power items, those might seed items, just wasn't necessary. Just using the one might seed is all that we needed to be able to do it in the number of ZSDs that we're doing it with. So it's a really neat, you know, kind of just optimization here, just in the weapon choice that you know, takes out a lot of other requirements, because other weapons would definitely benefit from having, you know, all these other things. Light Crystal's kind of bad RNG here, and just Maclite and Earth Crystal that doesn't really do much for us. So that was our last chance for Iron Ore in a quest. Everything else now, we're going to want it out of quest rewards, which we should be good if I counted everything right, because we get 1 from the smithy. I got 2 in rewards, and then I'm pretty sure I counted 5 that we gathered here. So we should be good. Alright, so these nitro shrooms become gunpowder to make barrel bombs. Some of my openers and some just parts of the run use the barrel bombs just for extra fixed damage. I think it's like 160, 80 each. Prove me wrong here in a second when we actually see the damage number. And then this fight starts with a pitfall trap. So there is actually a distinct difference between the two types of traps. Shock traps are faster to put down, but they last, but they are shorter because of it. Pitfall traps take a little bit longer to place on the ground, but they last a little bit longer. Also, the pitfall trap will make the bottom half of the monster underground, so it makes that part pretty much inaccessible, exposing the head really well. The shock trap will keep the entire monster out of the ground, but the monster is in this like static, like electrocuted stagger kind of phase. It's really weird. I'm looking at the cart position here to wait to eat this might seed, so I get the most duration on it. All right, so I'm gonna be a little quiet here because this script is not easy. Oh, I moved. I thought I was on the leg. Alright, thank you, Lucky Blast proc. We are down a lot of damage. So, Lucky Blast procs, please. That's actually okay. So I'm gonna do some cheese here. Good, Clagger. Alright, so I'm actually gonna take that and just play it safe. 1, 2. He should be cap ready after this. Normally, I would do a pre-trank, but I'm just gonna kind of snag him right now. Yep, he was just one hit away. Perfect. So there's another way for me to tell what a monster's health is at. and it's based on these little red rocks that drop out of them. They're called powerful slingers. Every monster will drop 2 powerful slingers. Its second powerful slinger at 30% health. And at 30% health, the monster is capturable. The only monster that doesn't work for is the next one, Gerototus. Piscine Wyverns are just different, and they are awful, and they are the worst addition to this game, and they should be removed. And you'll see why. Yeah, we'll just take that because that has a small monster bone in it. The other thing, too, that you may notice is that every time the save prompt comes up, I'm not saving. It's actually just a small time save, both IGT and RTA. Saves, like, I think it saves me, like, 1.25 seconds or something like that. Because everyone's saves are a little bit different. Small optimization. There's, like, 20-some-odd quests. Bunch of times that you would save throughout the game. So just having that off saves that time. So, yeah, fish. Fish is the literal worst. Not only do fighting fish monsters, it's terrible. The area that we fight them in is covered in water, which means we can't place traps there. We have to find dry areas to place traps. So it makes doing this fight a lot more difficult. If I am good at the game, I will be able to do that no problem. Fingers crossed that I'm good at the game. We'll see, right? But this kind of starts out with a little bit of an RNG. I'm trying to manipulate AI at the very beginning of this to get him to do a mud ball kind of attack where he just spits mud at us. Good. Water Blight's not great, but it doesn't really matter for Switch Axe. And then we started with a wall bang. So I'm just kind of watching my stamina here too, so I don't get caught in a situation where I'm winded. Alright, get that hit. So that's first pod, but don't let that fool you. He's at like 80-something% health right now. Perfect. A little early. He's at second pod now, though, which is good. I'm trying to hit his head, but his position is just really terrible right now. Flagger that. No! I got hit by the tail. Alright, yeah, I kind of messed up the Clagger chain here, but let's see if I still have a ZSD. I do. So this one started really early because it was about to end. I'm going to try to find a Thorn Pod here. The Thorn Pod are the red ones that he drops, and they can do KO damage for us, which will kind of get us the end of this script. Perfect jump right here. So I'm looking for the last pod to drop too. Kind of missed that. Alright, good. I pull out the weapon there at the end because I'm always afraid I didn't do enough damage. Seeing the third pod and then usually hitting him like 2 or 3 more times is enough. But it's always sketchy. But you saw that like I had to get close to the shore there to be able to place that shock trap. All in all, not a terrible fish. 224 is not bad. 224 is not bad at all. Usually those can go really haywire, and he ends up on the other side of the arena. It makes doing this end quest gathering a lot harder, and it's just not fun. You'll see me every now and then sell my rewards instead of keeping them. I'm keeping the ones that can have a chance for materials that I'm going to need. And for the most part, that's done, except for, like, 4 quests. There's not much required RNG that I need anymore. Everything else is pretty much guaranteed, except for the materials to unlock Camp 17 in the Ancient Forest. That requires an Anjanath Pelt and 2 large monster bones. The Anjanath Pelt is like an 80% chance to get, and you can get multiples of them, but there's still, you know, that 20% chance you just don't get it. There's a backup strat for it. It loses about a minute. It's called 17less. It requires us to do things in a reverse order. Instead of having Camp 17, which, you know, ultimately makes just some things slower. It makes one quest, the Rathalos quest, like really sketchy. But besides that, you know, it's pretty it's pretty fine. Like it's marathon safe. Whoops, just need to do that. All right. So quick reach stock here before Tobi Kadachi. This is one of the most RNG heavy hunts in low rank. I guess I can't say in low rank. I guess you know, in Zora 1. But this fight has just the possibility to go absolutely awry. We have an opener that kind of helps with that, using some barrel bombs to soften up his legs for a part break, and a shock trap to just stop him from moving, so we can get our ZSDs ready and start ZSDing before he does his Enraged Roar. Enraged Roar is a guaranteed roar based on how much damage we dealt. And with Switch Axe, we get earplugs, natural level 4 earplugs, when we ZSD. So we'll be taking advantage of that. I'm going the wrong way. And this really quick, we walk into that cutscene. All right, I'm going to be a little quiet here. He walked immediately away from it, which is great. And by great, I mean awful. It's okay, we can move over. I'm waiting for this shock trap to kind of end, so I can ZSD through this roar now, which he didn't do. Which is fine, because we get that clagger there anyways. 1, 2. So that's one of the things that he can do, which is really annoying, is jump into the trees, which forces us off. Ooh, good trip. Just watching my... Good. I was just watching my gauge there, and that's both. This is fine. Oh, I'm on the wrong thing! Hurry! Ooh, okay. I accidentally menued on the D-pad and I was on the wrong object there. That could have been really bad. But I figured it out fast enough. It's the D-pad menuing is really nice until it does something like that to you. It's fine. Everything's fine. We're actually at a really good pace here. I want those small bones.
You wouldn't know it by looking at the timer.
I mean, it's very true. Not only is it red, it's also not IGT, so I have actually no idea how long this has been. But usually sub 45 going into Anjanath is really good. Anjanath is a very cool fight. Anjanath is a full script that is very easy to mess up, so I will definitely be quiet during this. It also has a little bit of RNG to it because we rely a little bit on his AI halfway through to cooperate, but we manipulate that using the Ghillie Mantle. We haven't really talked about that yet, but mantles are a type of specialized equipment in this game that provide you unique benefits while using them. Ghillie Mantle allows you to more or less hide in plain sight, right? It's a ghillie suit. The Ghillie Mantle is cool for saving yourself or doing scripts that require you to stand in front of the monster before their like initiation roar, right? Like the monsters will usually roar and interact with you when you first encounter them. Ghillie kind of helps, you know, remove that. All right, so we roll into this to get a cutscene trigger, a little 1-second optimization. Don't kill me. That works. A little off of his head here. Just gonna wait and then start this. I did not do enough damage to him to do the Enraged Roar. I hit too much of his hands, so I'm gonna try to get the Clagger here. I got the Clagger off of a blast. 1, 2. So that means I'm gonna have to do a little something different here. One, 2. 2. All right, that one was a little early, but that's fine. I'm going to get the head break here. So we want to put on our Ghillie Mantle now. That's going to put him into the searching AI. And while we're wearing this, we can hit him and to kind of like pull him to where we want to be. And look at who else but our friend, The Rock. I missed it. Oh gosh, I'm gonna get a roar here. Yep. All right, I messed up. I missed a single hit, and now he's transitioning. So am I gonna get up? All right, at least I get up. That's just how tight it is. You miss one thing, you mess up the whole thing. I'm not close enough. No, I'm not close enough to get wall cheese. I didn't have Scatternut equipped, so I couldn't slow him down. Oh, God. It's all falling apart. All right. If they initiate a turf war, which they didn't, he left. Good. Oh, what are you doing, dude? I don't even know what health he's at. I'm missing at least one ZSD, so I'm not going to do anything off of that. I'm going to do that. Just a little bit of an ad lib here. Flashing him puts him in this like really long stagger, which I can take advantage of. And YOLO. All right. So not perfect, not the best it could have been, but still really good. I would have been on an amazing pace if I didn't mess that up. Just by the way, because we did everything else pretty much perfectly. This is the only thing in Zora 1 that we didn't do that well. If we can get a sub 1 Zora 1, it might actually be a Zora 1 RTA world record. We got one large bone, but we did get our pelt there, so we have more chances at large bone RNG. The next quest is one of them, and then the next 2 quests after that are also opportunities. So it's pretty safe. But the next quest is kind of another auto-scroller-esque kind of fight. This is called Zora Madros 1, or Snora Napteros 1. Zora fights are unique in the sense that they have 2 phases, usually a siege phase and then a like climbing on his back phase. I don't know what you want to call that. Phase 1 of Zora 1 is shooting cannons at him, and then phase 2 is running around on his back, kind of completing different tasks and objectives. To finish these quests, to finish Zora 1, you have to meet a health gate, which is really low. It's not too high at all, so it'll be relatively easy to actually meet that. We can do it with shooting 2 full cannons, which is 10 cannonballs total, and hitting it with 2 ballista. We're gonna hit it with more than that to kind of stagger it through some AI to help progress the quest faster. But besides that, yeah, there's really not much else for us to do. We're just going to stagger them out of certain AI and try to progress the quest as fast as possible. It's a little bit of timing and a little bit of execution that I'll explain in phase 1, and then phase 2 is me just going to be running around on his back doing nothing. So definitely another time to read off any donations or any other announcements that you have. So the beginning of Zora 1 starts with this. It's called Early Binder. A runner, Ellie Alive, actually found this. Shoutouts to Ellie. But bindering, using this more or less harpoon with a rope on it to stop Zora Madros from moving is faster than letting the NPCs do it when he reaches the barrier. So that binder has to happen no matter what. But this is the fastest iteration of that binder, so he can keep moving. One of the goals of this is to make sure that Zora is always moving. So we don't want to do anything that staggers him unnecessarily. When he gets up to this barrier, he is going to do 2 attacks, both of which we are going to stagger him out of when the attack would start. After that, it's kind of it's just a lot of waiting and a lot of inventory management and menuing. We get a lot of time here to sell a bunch of equipment, make a bunch of money, reorganize some equipment. It's really nice. But the Zora 1 quest has always been kind of like an enigma to us. We've been trying to figure out how to skip this because, I mean, look at this. This is awful. You just kind of stand here and wait for him, moving along, trudging real slowly. Cool looking monster, but very, very boring. This this fight right here is what gets most people to stop playing the game, just because of how long this takes. If you were to do this casually, keep shooting cannons, like do what the NPCs tell you to do, it can take upwards of 35 to 40 minutes. It's just stupid, right? Because you're constantly staggering him and flinching him out of stuff. So when he gets up here, we're going to wait for something called Big Step. I'm going to try to time this right so I get 3 cannonball. 1, 2, 3. Got 3 cannonball. Perfect. So when I say 3 cannonball, I mean a stagger after the 3rd cannonball. Just like every other monster in this game, he has thresholds behind this, behind the scene that says dealing this much damage to him makes him flinch, makes his chest break, makes him stagger, all this stuff. Every monster's like that, and that's what we use to take advantage of claggers and trips and part breaks, knockdowns, all this stuff to make really cool scripts to fight the monster. And Zora is no different. So we have to wait for like certain animation to end there to get that part break. If we wait too long, we hit it with 4 cannonballs, and so we only get 1 cannon on the next part break value, which means we have to shoot some extra ballista, which loses a little bit of time because it changes how his movement and his AI. Here I'm just looking for some head animation. There's an animation there where his head specifically just stops moving entirely. I'm just waiting for that animation so I know that he is in the fireball. The fireball animation, which I interrupt with that stagger. Then we get a part break here, which interrupts some other movement. And then we're going to get 1 more flinch here. Perfect. And then now he will progress to the barrier. He's in a really good position and a really good spot to do that. So the remainder of this is just me checking on RNG. This is when we're going to check to see if we got the iron ore that we needed, and then I'm going to do some other menuing here too, like making this spot here to make a upgrade later easier. I'm going to reorganize this and just move some stuff around. But for the most part, this quest is done. We just kind of have to do a little bit of management here and then jump on Zora's back. That voice line right there, I was literally about to talk about it, tells us if we did the skip right or not. But that voice line is kind of tied to his position against the barrier. Once he interacts with the barrier, that voice line starts. So we can kind of use that to tell if we got fast Zora or not. There's a slow version of Zora, which loses about 15 to 25 seconds, depending on AI and like when you flinched and how he moves. But it looks like I got it. The last bit of selling here is just for a kind of early purchase. We're gonna buy a power charm before Zora 2. It's just a little bit faster movement that doesn't have any effect on Zora 2 movement, so it's actually just a lot nicer to buy it there, and it cuts out a shop visit later. And then we're just gonna check here. Yep, 1 large bone, 4 pelt. And I have 9 of those. Perfect. I'm going to sell this light crystal. And sell some of this Kestodon stuff. So what's nice here is that there's really no... There's no way to lose more time until the very end of the quest now, which is really nice. So I don't have to like be here the moment I can climb onto his back. I'm actually not going to do anything important here other than gather some mining nodes. That'll give me Dragonite ore and Macalite ore, which I'm going to use to make the high metal greaves later, along with that iron ore that we checked on. We have 9 iron ore. We needed 1 to make the weapon, and then 6 to make the greaves, so we have plenty. So now I'm just going to go around and do some mining and some fun movement on Zora. It is so hard to miss this RNG that you need with the Dragonite ore and the Macalite ore. I've literally never missed it. which is I was gonna cut out like, you know, doing this mining and going and standing up like at the front of the monster, take like a selfie with chat, right? And then we found out that, well, not found out, but subsequently we finally realized that we needed all of this mining for the high metal greaves for Zora 2. But yeah, now's a really good time for any more donations and any other announcements. Any other shout outs that you have?
I'm not seeing any new donations at this time. So I'll go into the usual spiel. The DogPound Speedrunning for DogPound Ukraine is benefiting Save the Children and its Ukraine relief efforts. As of right now, child poverty rates are up more than 57% in the Donetsk and Luhansk regions of Ukraine. And since the beginning of the conflict, over 750 education facilities have become damaged. So the work that Save the Children is doing to help the children in Ukraine while they're facing the crisis is absolutely needed and absolutely wonderful. Any and all donations that everybody's willing to contribute are greatly appreciated by DogPound Speedrunning, by Save the Children, and consequently by the children in Ukraine.
What's really nice about this quest too is that it gives us an opportunity to practice movement on Zora, because he's a monster and he's moving. The physics on the back of Zora just don't always work the way that the game physics usually work. So it gives us an opportunity to kind of like practice movement on here, especially for Zora 0, the very beginning of the speed run. The movement that I did at the very beginning of that is kind of precise and kind of difficult, especially because there's like a 50-50 chance that there's a wing drake that hits you, so you have to dodge it, among other things, right? But it just kind of gives us the opportunity to practice and try this stuff out. The NPC here keeps yelling at me, "Hey, break those magma cores." That's a magma core, and we aren't going to touch it. So this option is in here in case you miss the damage gate on phase 1. And there is a really big tell if you miss it. Zora doesn't stand up when he reaches the second barrier. Instead, he just keeps lying down, and the handler keeps yelling at you, "Hey, go break those cores." But we don't want to touch them. If you break a core, it staggers Zora Magdaros, and that slows down his movement. Right? That's bad. That's not good, right? We want him to progress as fast as possible. It's a speed run. So if we don't have to touch him, we don't. There are some parts on his sides, though, that are like just like, you know, breakable rocks that will attack, but breaking those don't stagger him, and it also gives us an extra part drop and some research points. It's not necessary, actually, but if you miss the health gate by a little bit, you can get an extra 100 damage off of both of those, 200 total. So it's an opportunity to make up for missing damage if you did. Odds that you did, incredibly low, especially if you shot the 4 cannonballs and 2 ballista. The end of this hunt, though, is really cool. It's like one of my favorite contributions to this run. It's called, I call it the Nergigante Quick Kill. Though it's not really a kill, it's just a really fast transition. The way that this quest ends is by fending off from an Elder Dragon called Nergigante. But he has a really small health gate that we want to get past, which is equal to 2 of these barrel bombs, large barrel bombs, and 3 of these small barrel bombs. Most of the time, though, people don't know this. How do you get 3 of the small barrel bomb onto the ground fast enough before the first one explodes? Usually, you know, you would go and do that, and the first one would explode before you're able to place down a third. But cool little interaction in this game. If you just hold forward, you actually place the bombs faster. Who knew? I don't think it's intended. I don't think it was anything that they knew they added. But it is definitely there. So just doing a little bit last looks at my inventory and my equipment here before we actually get here. The neat thing that we get to do, though, is just like a neat little warp back to Zora Magdaros' back, which puts us in position to do the bombing for Nergi Quick Kill. But besides that, I mean, there's really not much else to do here. I have to dodge a roar. That's the last like skill thing that you have to do, as well as not falling off of Zora, which is pretty easy. But the next part of the run is called Zora 2, or Colossal Task. It's pretty much just 6 hunts really in really fast succession, followed up by the Zora 2 quest. It's one of the harder learning curves of the game and also one of the most inconsistent spots. All of those monsters do not have full scripts except for Radabon. But on the Radabon quest, there are bugs that fly around that like to paralyze you, so it's just kind of RNG if that happens or not. On the Paolumu quest, depending on which way it flinches, you can get too close to a blue sleep toad, which will knock you out for like 15 seconds. It's just a huge time loss. The Shrieking Legiana fight is very much RNG depending on what moves she does, because you do kind of rely on being able to flash her out of the air. Oda Garen, honestly, Oda Garen is probably the cleanest fight out of all of those before you get to Diablos and Rathalos. Rathalos is a joke if we can get really good luck on it. Shrieking, oh excuse me, just regular Legiana. I misspoke there. Gosh, could you imagine if we fought Shrieking in low rank? No, thank you. Alright, so we're going to stand right here to fall off of his back when he gets hit by the binder here. Landing on the back of his neck will teleport us back onto his back. And then we're just going to put down these bombs next to this rock that kind of looks like a little pile of poop. That just gets us into the position to do that. Then when Nergigante appears, we get warped back here again. He always starts off with a roar, so we're going to dodge that and then place our bombs, and that'll be it. That felt a little early, but it was generous. They're just holding forward there. I'm able to put them all down and dodge the roar, or dodge the explosion. But that's it. Oh, did I get it? Sub 1 hour, let's go. Sub 1 hour RTA on that is amazing. And I got my large monster bones there, so we don't need any more RNG. RNG is, no more materials RNG. All of that is done. As long as I got small bone RNG, which I'm pretty sure I did. Because I never checked that. But I only needed 2 of those in one ancient bone, which pretty confident we got. Alright. That little bit of movement that I did right there, running backwards and opening the map at the same time, is actually the fastest way to open the map. Standing still makes a longer, like, you know, pulling out the map animation and opening the map animation. It's like a second longer, maybe. But we do it quite often. So actually doing a fast turnaround from that, from that council table and opening the map at the same time just opens it a little bit faster for us. It's a small optimization, but it's just one of those like little small seemingly insignificant things that actually adds up to a lot of time in the long run, like 15-20 seconds maybe in the long run, because we do it so many times. So this like ravine here, it's called the Great Ravine. This is the only time you ever come here, which is wild because they made a whole map for it, and this is the only time it's ever used. You know, it's literally just this path. This is where Zora escaped us, which kind of introduces us to a new area, which is actually my favorite area in design, but not in execution, which is the Coral Highlands. There's a little... I need to confirm that this is still a time save, but hugging this wall right here lets you run up to this trigger a lot faster. If you're to the left just a little bit, it makes you walk like this, but you have to get all the way up to this point anyways. I'm pretty sure, though... I've tested it a couple of times, but I've never timed it out to see how much time it actually saves. So this is the research base. It's a flying ship, just kind of hovering about, doing whatever it wants. The research base will come back here a lot. This is where we're going to do the majority of our crafting and purchasing now, because it's really small. So, unlike Astera, all of the things are right next to each other. It just makes doing anything that's worth... anything that you would have to do in Astera is just worth doing there. So much to the point that we'll just fast travel there to do it instead of navigating around Astera to do it. So this is the Coral Highlands. It's a really neat place, and, you know, it's like coral, just like it says. And it's high up, just like it says. But the Coral Highlands, this is the expedition that we have to do here. While we're here, we're going to gather some extra stuff. These thunderbugs, mainly. And we have to do two things. We have to spot the ZTAQ. There we go, we did it. Congrats. And then also search for a campsite, which is the only other campsite on this map. We will never unlock it because it takes ZCAQ parts, but there's kind of a theory for the longer category of this game, for the DLC portion of the game, Iceborne, that fighting that ZCAQ may be worth it, because you come to the Coral Highlands a couple of times, and just having that would help out. Mulberry is going to be used later to get rid of abnormal statuses like Ice Blight, Frost Blight, Dragon Blight, stuff like that. It's not too much of a problem, except for on one of the Elder Dragons, Valhazak, which gives a status called Effluvia, which just cuts your health in half, and has no like actual timer or reason why it does it. Effluvia is the worst mechanic in the entire game, because it's seemingly random. And cuts your health in half, so like it can happen to you, and then you just immediately get hit. It's not fun. But that's our Coral Highlands objectives. So now we get to do our first hunt here in the Coral Highlands, which is Paolumu. Oops. Hands on the controller. Here's to where we're going to do our first upgrade. So the Defender weapons can all be upgraded 4 times, and they're linked to rewards that you receive from assigned missions. It only takes 1 part from 1 monster, which is a guaranteed drop, and also you're guaranteed to do it because it is an assigned mission. Whoops, hit B there. It's still a way to teach people how to do upgrading in the game, though there's some argument to be made that it doesn't teach you how to do it appropriately. But the first thing that we're going to do here is make our SNS first. And we're just not going to equip it. And we're going to make some new armor. We're going to grab the Bone Chest, which gives us a level of attack boost. And then the High Metal Greaves, which gives us our heavy artillery. Whoops, I did not mean to do that, and I undid it. Perfect. That's just some old muscle memory that I'm trying to get over. So that's how fast it takes just to, like, upgrade weapons and stuff. It's literally just one menu, L1 once, X once, and then circle twice, and you're out of there. Whoops, ate an input. There we go. The position of that I didn't really talk about food, did I? Dang. So you'll see that, like, before some of these quests, which I guess starts now, I'm going to be eating. The meals at... Yeah, I guess this is the first quest that I eat on, huh? Oh, and I got Feline Lander. Nice. Cheating. There's just a lot going on right now. So yeah, this is like the first quest that I actually eat on. Eating a meal provides some bonuses for us. You can get you always get a stamina bonus, and then you can sometimes get a health bonus, and then you can sometimes get additional meal effects. But you are also always given either a attack bonus, a defense bonus, or elemental defense bonus. The meal that we eat is the meat meal, which will always give us a attack bonus. That attack bonus makes small changes throughout the run. On Paolumu, it's actually a really big change, because if I'm an absolute gamer, I can get the absolutely blessed Paolumu AI that also is the fastest Paolumu script in the game. But though it's probably not going to happen. But we have to meet the Clagger threshold like twice in one ZSD, which is just, just doesn't happen unless you get really lucky. Starting off with a wall bang. We're going to start this with a ZSD. Doing this damage once again is going to get us the Enrage Roar. Nice blast there. I'm just going to wait a second and now do it. There's my first Clagger. 1, 2. Just wait a little bit longer there. Nice. Second Clagger. 1, 2. I need to do 5 here, which is probably not going to happen. Especially that's just a flail, so I'm going to YOLO. Nope, I got runnies. So yeah, that's just where the AI comes back in. Ooh, I got pulled by the wind. Dodge through that. Haven't really talked about that, but this game does have iframes, like any other action-adventure game. Man, I'm sure am getting this AI over and over again. Man, I sure am getting runnies when I have Gauge to do sword mode and not runnies any other time. So I need to wait for the first attack here because he's pretty much immune to flashes before then. And then flash. Flashing Flying Wyverns usually results in this long top pull. Oh, I got very lucky and also missed that. That's unfortunate. 1, 2. So I got that Clagger at the very beginning of the ZSD, which is just unfortunate. And then since it got that Clagger and I was ending it early, I missed the actual ZSD explosion. And that's a limp. So we won't often see those because most of these things are scripted, but a limp tells me that the monster is under 30% health. So for some fights like Paolumu, it's just really hard to script this monster for some reason. Oh, I never put the sleep herbs back in the... Okay, it's fine. I have backups. I never put the sleep herbs back in my chest on Zora 1. Also new movement that I'm still learning. But it's fine. That's just to avoid some RNG later and not having a backup trank. But we won't need it. We won't need that at all. Ooh, actually no, I'm taking that. That had a flash bug in there. I kind of want that. Because we'll need flash bugs for Paolumu, and this route is very flash bug starved. Alright, up next is Radabon, which is done in an expedition. So there's 2 objectives to this expedition. Hunt the Radabon, and then spot a monster called Great Gyros. If we do everything right, this goes by really quick. Radabon can be defeated in 5 ZSDs, 1 grounded, and 4 clutched onto it. And if we do this perfectly, we can just chain all of those ZSDs together. The opener to this too, it was just a lot of testing, which is kind of neat. It took us a while to actually figure this out, but starting this with a flash pod puts him in the position for this wallbang, where before it was a 60% chance to actually get this wallbang in. Now it's guaranteed. Just wait for him to get up, flash him, take the flashes off, and then we can push him around. And we have just enough stamina to do this too, which makes it really nice. So now I'm just looking out for these bugs right here. It's kind of hard to script this because of... There we go, got it. Alright, we got our first Clagger. We are good. 1, 2. We missed that. That's okay. So we should just be able to tap him here. We didn't get it. I'm gonna flash and do some YOLO ZSTs. Just don't hit me. I have enough timer on the amp state to get 4 in. If you don't get 4 exactly, we just kind of miss this. That actually works. Ready to grab that. This is an extra. All right, good. Yeah, I was literally just like a second off. I had to reposition because one of those bugs was getting close to me. That's okay, though. We have a lot of backup thunder bugs that we can get on this route, and just kind of in general. And if I'm going to use an extra trap, right there is not terrible. It just means I have to change some of my routing later when I do some gathering. So I did mention earlier that this game is so convenient on, what we need and just having it in front of us when we need it. Literally at this point in the game, we go, okay, we need perish rooms. And literally on the way to go spot this Great Gyros, there are, I think it's 8 parachute pickups. It's insane. It's just so convenient. Nope, I don't want to take any of that. All right, so up next is Legiana. Legiana's kind of RNG. But if I play well, we should be able to manage that. A lot of doing this game really well is adjusting to inconsistencies. There's a consistent opener for Legiana, but then after that, it's just all hell breaks loose. We have an opportunity here too to do some inventory management, but we're only going to grab one thing because we only need trap tools right now. And minimizing the amount of time that you spend out of a quest is one of the biggest time saves here, right? Just knowing what you need before you go to the box and like how to get it is just really important. So
let me know when I can jump in here, Bagel.
Oh yeah. After this quest would actually be a really good time because we have some movement. So this quest is kind of different from the other ones. You may have noticed that before all of the other fights, we run into a cutscene. It kind of, makes it a little bit easier to route in extra things. Some like extra, an extra thunderbug here or there, or some like going to the item box to get something extra, right? This quest is a little bit different in that it does not start with a cutscene. We actually already watched the cutscene for it, and I skipped it really fast. It still has a consistent spawn. It will always spawn and kind of migrate the same way, but we're on a timer on how fast we can, or how long we can take to get up here to do a wallbang opener into some bombs. I like this opener. There are other ones. There are easier ones that don't take as much of your time and concentration, but just having good paced movement all the way through here, you have maybe a couple of seconds of leeway. I skipped that immediately, so okay, I can usually tell by the music here, but I skipped it a little bit faster than I would normally since this is a marathon setting. But I can tell by its position right there that I'm pretty much on pace, which gives me just enough time to put down these 2 barrel bombs and eat a might seed, and then get ready to clutch claw onto its head. I want to do this while it lands because me being on it overwrites some other AI, but that was pretty much perfect. Gonna do it again here, waiting for it to stand up, and I don't want it to fly. Flying will end up launching me just really far away from it, and we just don't want to deal with that. And then I want to get onto this. Legiana's roar will knock me off, so I want to end my ZSD before it actually roars to get this clagger. 1, 2. And then now we can kind of chain it. If I get really lucky AI here, I can get a dunk. Nope. But that stagger always happens. Want to make sure I use these easy flash bombs because they don't. Whoops. They're only for this quest. So this is the AI of the quest, right? Kind of the RNG associated with it. It's an unfortunate. That should get that though. Good. And I just ran out of gauge. And perfectly still, Legiana. I'm actually just gonna do this and get a leg trip here. Oop, I got hit by that. You can see also I take just no damage from it hitting me, and that's just defender gear in play. I'm waiting for enough amp state to get this morph. That was too soon. Just need to be really careful here. It in the air and also at 1 pod is just really scary because it means it's about to leave. 3 pods will always do the amount of health that we need to end the quest after the first, right? Like shooting, slinger bursting the Pierce pods like that will do enough damage between the first and the second pod to capture it. So it kind of puts us in unique opportunities to do like pre-tranks and stuff. All right, yeah. If you had any donations or anything that you wanted to read off, now's a great time to do it.
Fantastic. We received a $20 donation from Yami Carol 123. It says,
Yami.
"Great cause and great speedrun. Go Bagel."
Thank you, Yami. Nope.
Also like to remind everybody we still have a couple of Hollow Knight incentives that we can meet before the end of the marathon today. We've met both of the Undertales, so the Hollow Knight is all that's left, and that's randomized lever placement and the Path of Pain. And then we still have the ongoing Save or Kill the Animals Super Metroid Bid War. Currently, Save is ahead, $241 to 38. So if you want to make the objectively correct decision to kill the animals, then make sure to select that in your bid war when you donate. All proceeds go straight to save the children for their Ukraine relief fund, and any and all donations are appreciated by DogPoundSpeedrunning, by Save the Children, and by the children in Ukraine who will receive the benefits from it.
Objectively correct to kill the animals. Noted.
Well, if you kill the animals, you save the frames, and this is a speed run.
It's very, very true.
Also, if you don't save the animals, then Metroid Fusion isn't canon.
We have something similar. There's a portion later, which I'll point it out, during high rank track gathering, where we have the choice. It's because it's definitely a choice to drop a large rock on a monster called Dota Gamma, and it's a second time loss to do it. And Green keeps telling me, Greenspeed, the world record holder, keeps telling me I'm going to miss world record by a second because I keep doing it. Because I keep leaving it to a poll to let people decide for me to do it or not, and it always happens. So one of these days, I'm going to miss world record by a second because of it. But we always drop the rock. It's just the morally correct thing to do. Alright, so this is what I was talking about with the Ghillie Mantle. I use it just to run right up to the monster so I can get this opener on it. The wallbang opener here helps me start a Clagger chain on Oda Garen, a otherwise incredibly annoying monster to fight. Ooh, and I missed it. Clagger. Nope. Clagger. Thank you. 1, 2. Dodge through that. Walk around this. This isn't Rise. Two and 3. Just gonna put this down right here. So this pitfall trap's gonna expose his head for us to hit. Yeah, I knew I was gonna run out, like right when I got the trap down. All right, I got that leg. I might get the leg break a little too early here, though. Look like I didn't get it at all. I just want to hit this leg to get it to break, and then it results in a topple. That works too. 1, 2. I'm looking for first pot on this guy, because that really just helps. Yeah, there it is. And second. So we're just going to go for a capture now. Just going to wait on AI. He can do so many things. This dog moves around so much. He can jump on walls. He can run around in circles. He has a really long attack chain, which you saw, I think, like 2 or 3 times there, where he does like these 3 really long, like running attacks. Usually, I know I did that fast that this Might Seed doesn't respawn, but since it did, it was a little bit slow. But we're kind of playing that one a little safe. I don't want to use too many extra resources since I already used an extra shock trap. And we're about to head into the 2 hardest fights of this section of the game, Diablos and Rathalos. So Diablos is just a powerhouse of a creature. He just hurts all the time. Everything that he does hurts. Everything that he does hurts. You can dodge it all. It's just precise. It's exact. I mentioned before in the game we do have iframes, and you've seen me take advantage of them a couple of times. This game has I menued there. I didn't. This game has roughly 1/3 of the iframes of Dark Souls, right? Dark Souls is kind of designed around that. I'm not saying that this game is harder or anything like that. Don't misconstrue me. But just in numeric values, this game has 1/3 of the iframes of Dark Souls. So kind of like gives people just a perspective on it. Doesn't make dodging things impossible, It's actually one of the easier games to dodge things like roars and attacks. But it does make some attacks really tight, right? There are some attacks that last as long as your iframes. So if you are a frame short or a frame late, you know, well, obviously if you're a frame late, you get hit. If you're a frame early, you still get hit after your dodge. So there's a little mechanic that most people don't know about, riding that wing drake there. I am going to grab this extra thunderbug here, though I don't think I need it. Just doing it just to be safe. And we have so many pitfall traps, which is good. We use 2 of them on the high rank Anjanath to do another Clagger lock with ZSDs. We want to do 6 ZSDs in a row. So we'll put down a pitfall trap and we'll do one. We'll do 4 there, and then after those 4 and the gauge ends, we'll put down another pitfall trap, get a new gauge, and then do 2 more, and he's capture ready. All right. You may also notice that I do not focus on the story of this game at all. It's because the story here is literally just driven to make you fight another monster and fight something else. People don't play Monster Hunter games for story, honestly. People play it for the gameplay, for the experience, right? I always have. All right, so this is Camp 17 that we just air quotes unlocked. I'm going to then, you know, go to the research center here to unlock it completely. But we have now at least unlocked the turn-in for it. So the first fight that we are going to do here is Diablos. This fight is, it's something. 1, 2, 1, 2, and we're just gonna re-up on all those because I will need them later. So this is the research center. This is a provisions manager, aka Best Girl. Can we talk to her twice? We can. She likes us. All right, so we're gonna complete this delivery for the Ancient Forest Camp 2, which will give us Ancient Forest Camp 17. Which we'll use on the Rathalos quest, right? Like, why do you do it right now? It's just because movement works out that we can take the Diablos quest first and then go and do that. Oh, skip that, please. So this box gives us a item called an Easy Screamer Pod. Easy just means that it expires at the end of this quest. But the Screamer Pods create like a little sonic bomb effect, which forces monsters that burrow underground out of the ground. Diablos loves that move. If I get really good AI, he will do it only 3 times. If he does it more or less, it kind of sucks. But if he really likes us, he'll do it 3 times. If I'm also really good, I'll Clagger lock him for the most part, right? Though doing that against Diablos is really hard. His hit zones are really weird. His best hit zone is his chest, and we can't ZSD the chest, so we ZSD the tail. This opener is kind of AI dependent. Kind of RNG dependent. Gets stuck in that rock behind us. It's really scary because if he hits us, it hurts. And then I'm just going to dodge forward, and do this again, which we get tail AI now. That knocks him out of this, but then we get an idle AI like this, which I want to be underneath him and not attacking this leg. And he burrowed, which I didn't have these equipped. Got it anyways, we're good.
Let me know when you have another lull, Bagel.
It'll be a second, but yes, I will. Yeah! Nope, almost got it. All right. So a lot of these attacks are like big and sweeping. They're really scary. The tail and the horns will make me bounce like that, so I gotta be careful about hitting those. Oh, I got a nice horn break off of that. But you'll notice that we don't ZSD this guy as much. Oh, I bounced off of the bear off that's dead on the ground, so I'll have to heal now. Oh, I'm stunned. Don't kill me. Don't kill me. Divine Blessing proc. No. Dang. So that's the scariest mechanic in the game, which is called stun. Stun can happen to you, and some monsters and some monster attacks inflict more stun. Please note, I was hit once and then 2-shot, even with the aforementioned make game easy speedrunner gear. There's a whole community debate about if defender gear should even be in the game and stuff like that, because it makes it too easy. You still get 2-shot, dude. But it does have like really big protection skills, like Divine Blessing, which has a chance to negate damage or decrease damage, and health bonus, health boost. Health boost 3, it's like actually the max levels of it. So since we got that unlucky, I might get a transition here. I actually got that roar, that dodge roll. So that roar is exactly as long as your iframes, and getting it is not easy. Hey, a mechanic that I haven't used yet, Tenderizing. This softens a body part and changes the hit zone value, which is what determines damage to a body part. And there we go, nice trip. And then we're going to ZST this tail. Just don't burrow. Good. I didn't get the... Just want to get to something close that I can still clagger onto ZSD. Extend this clagger. Claggers last 6 seconds. Don't bounce. Ugh. Getting a little bullied here. He's running directly into a wall. There's really not too much I can do about this right now, other than just not dying and getting clipped by that tail. Oh my gosh, his head's facing at that wall. Uh-oh. Alright, that's second pod. While he's flashed, he won't dig, which gives me time to shock trap him. Alright, for carding once, it's not bad. But that's just bad luck, right? That's just... there was very little that I could actually do in that situation, other than playing perfectly, which I missed a dodge. It happens. You know, sometimes the unevenness of the terrain pushes you back into a hitbox after you dodge it, or you know, there's just so many different interactions that happen in this game. It's part of the game design, right? Like they want it to be variable like that to make the experience different each time. But sometimes, you know, that just happens. We speedrunners just try to take everything that they give us and trivialize the fights. All right, so this is Rathalos. Rathalos is a air quotes fight. He will not get to do much. We're going to use a waterfall and drop him off the waterfall. That'll do 10% of his health immediately, and also make a really long knockdown animation, which we will then use to do 2 ZSDs into a slinger bursted flash pod. After that, we should hopefully get good AI so we can do a ZSD on the head and start a clagger chain. Once we get that first clagger, his head threshold has a clagger and a stagger, so it'll be a little bit harder to keep that. So we'll also use a combination of trips and just flashed AI to kind of take advantage of that. First thing we do is drop that waterfall on him. Once again, just using the Ghillie Mantle to hide. Hello, Rathalos. I'm going to be a little quiet here. Alright, he stood up. Slinger burst that. Good. Stand perfectly still, please. Thank you. Oh, he's listening. He's such a good listener. He's such a bad listener. Clagger? Oh, no, he didn't clagger. Alright, so that's possible that I overwrote the threshold for the clagger. What if I can get it right here? Alright. So this is going to be a fast ZSD. Oh, it ended. So we're just going to do a burst. Where is that Toby at? I heard him. Oh, there he is. Hello. So this is the other AI to the other kind of RNG to this quest. Not only is Rathalos' AI right now absolutely garbage, but he's also being joined now by his friend Toby Kadachi. Side hop wasn't enough. So you need to be careful here. Monsters running into walls have hitboxes that last forever. So what I'm doing with the flashes, why I keep flashing him over and over again, is I'm trying to stop him from transitioning into the next area. Move we never get to see in speedruns because it's bad, but position said it was good. Get that off, good. I got both of them, good. Now I just need to make sure that my shock trap hits Rathalos and not Toby. Oh, Toby's gonna punch me anyways. No! Oh my gosh, there's too many things that were just happening right there, and I am almost dead from poison. So we gotta get this thing captured before Toby can kill me. All right, we're good. So a lot of things just happened right there. I got caught onto a wall, which happens. I was being bullied by a Toby Gadachi, which happens. I was almost out of flash pods. Now I only have 2. So the next time that I go to my box, I'm going to restock on those, which is why I was taking them from the quests. But usually, I'll try to do that in only 2 flashes. But sometimes, you know, it takes more. Toby gets involved, right? Like if you flash, then you immediately get hit. There's nothing you can do about that. Now is a great time. That was a fantastic time for donations.
Good deal. We have an anonymous $200 donation that has narrowed our bid war with a comment, nuke the animals from orbit. It's the only way to be sure. Save and kill is now $3 apart, but save is still in the lead. But now at least it's an actual competition.
Whoever you are, Anonymous, thank you. Doing the Lord's work today. All right.
It's kind of funny because killing the animals, you don't actually kill them, you just don't save them.
You just leave them. Effectively. It's like the same thing, right? So, the next fight is going to look a little familiar. It's Zora Magdaros 2. Don't worry. It's a little more entertaining than the first one. This one has a much larger health gate that we have to reach, which makes it, like timing and movement a little more difficult. And this time we are going to be attacking. I always forget this. I don't need this right now, but I'm trying to get used to doing it. But we don't want to break magma cores, and we're going to be attacking them. So we know exactly how much damage that we need to deal to the magma core to do as much damage as we can without breaking it. But this is Zora 2. So unlike Zora 1, this starts with a sequence on its back and then ends with a sequence at a wall, at a barrier, right? So while we're also dealing damage to Zora Magdaros, our friend Nergigante is also going to appear. Earlier, I didn't even talk about this, but earlier I gathered and crafted for an item called a Mega Barrel Bomb. It's like a barrel bomb, but better. It does like twice the amount of damage. They're good. They're real good. We're going to use that to soften up the horns on Nergigante so we can break it at least once. That one break is going to give us research points, so we only have to do his track gathering once. 2. I'm going to do some counting here, and I'll explain why in a second. 3. 4. 5. 6, and morph. Alright. So, I know that I can do 6. Oh my goodness. I thought it caught me. I know I can do 6 sword combos, which is also conveniently enough how much my gauge is. And then on the first and third cores, 9 wild swings. On the second core, 15 wild swings before the core actually breaks. Once again, breaking a core stops Zora Magdaros from moving for a few seconds. Slow. We don't want that. This is actually the most consistent quest in the entire game, and we're going to keep it that way. So every time you see me drop down into here, I'm going to shoot them with a rock first. That rock is going to trigger it to do an explosion, and then I can kind of position myself. Just waiting for a voice line here to drop these rocks, which skips a animation that I just still don't quite understand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, morph, and we got unlucky. We got a big explosion. There's actually like one safe zone. I can never find it. There's like one like little safe spot here. Whoops. We'll do 14. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Just readjusting there to me misinputting an attack. Instead of doing 15, I do 14 because I hit it twice with an attack that I don't know the part break value on. The attacks themselves have motion values. The higher the motion value, the stronger the attack is. And then also attacks have part break values, which the higher the part break value, the more likely it is to break apart. Just waiting for some movement here. I'm actually just gonna wait for the voice line. So he's powering up a strong attack. We use this stalagmite on the side to stop it from doing that. If we actually let him do this empowered attack, he gets stronger magma cores that explode more often. He gets stronger magma balls, and he makes more of those magma balls that he's like shooting around everywhere. So we don't want him to do that because it can be really disruptive and also kill us. So we are coming up to... Oh, I don't want to do that. I want to do that. We're coming up to Nergigante. But you can see that the majority of this quest is just making certain timers and being in places to drop rocks. It's actually a really cool quest that we've optimized, because before it used to be that we were like on the wall over here shooting cannons. Like it made no sense, and it used to take twice as long. Now, real fast, real speedy. I actually put some thought and effort into this and kind of created something really good. So I'm waiting for another voice line here to drop this rock. And then I'm going to drop this one over here. The rocks do stagger Zora, but we're doing them at times where either A, we want to stagger him and he's not moving anyways, or B, he can't be staggered. So I'm placing those on a very specific spot and standing in a very sort of specific way. I want to be facing away from where Nergi is going to spawn, and I'm going to want to wait here like a half a second to get him to do the jumping AI. I want him to jump and land on these bombs. If he walks up to them, it makes it a lot harder to shoot them to hit his horns. Yeah, so I got the jump there. Good. And then I'm going to clutch claw into his head and wallbang. The wallbang itself does part break damage too, which is really nice, which makes this really easy. Oh, I missed. It's okay. We got the horn break, but I like to bully this guy. There is a like incredibly like theorized optimization that can be done in multiplayer in this game, where if you deal enough damage to Nergi, he actually does a faster transition, which is just inherently faster, right? 1, 2. But he's going to transition here in any second anyways. I just want to try to do as much damage to him as I can in that time and get that fabled early transition. But it's like you have to do a lot of his health, which he's going to do a lot of my health. All right, good, he left so I can heal. This is also really nice too, is that the way that we attack him drops these shinies, which are always large monster bones. So if we ever missed large monster bone RNG earlier, we can make up for it here. Everybody say hi to Rock Friend. This is a contribution by GJG98. Casually, he found this rock that just doesn't break when Zora is in this position. And we looked at that. I mean, I looked at that and I was like, that's not going to be useful. And then we made up this route and found out that it's going to be useful. But Rock Friend was a great addition to this. But its hitbox is really weird. The way it takes damage is really weird. The fact that it doesn't break is really weird. Like now, if I waited for him to level out here and then I hit it, it breaks instantly, right? That's a big explosion. I probably get clipped by this. I didn't. Yay! All right, so we want to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. One more hit and that thing breaks. That's just like how precise this is. There's also certain AI that he can do that can break his own cores, or at least pseudo break them. It's really weird. It doesn't happen often though. Draw attack into that. Let him explode. Oh, we got good position there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, didn't get it. Okay, we'll just do a morph into it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I also just noticed that I have yellow sharpness, so I actually just underdamaged it. So I might not get the break here. This is actually the only core that we're going to try to break. In the very end, when he's doing his ending transition, he won't be staggerable. So we'll try to break this core during that, just to get that last bit of damage off on it. But since I was at yellow sharpness instead of green, that actually affects your damage multiplier. Just waiting for the other explosion now. It did break it. Okay, good. And then just trying to get into a little corner here so I get fast transitioned to the barrier. So now it's phase 2. We're going to be shooting cannons. We're going to do one a little early before he gets to the barrier, and then the rest of them afterwards. There's still 2 conditions to be met. 1 is the health gate, and 2 is the barrier health has to be displayed under the complete assignment kind of list right there. So we still don't want to stagger him out of moving. We've kind of timed out this right here, which is called early cannon. If you don't have good movement here, you can't really do this. But the cannon in this position, in that movement AI, does not stagger him out of that attack. Normally it would. If we waited for him to finish that step and then tried to attack him, it'd stagger him out of the step, and it would waste roughly 8 seconds. But now we can just finish loading this up. And then we're going to go and get ready to shoot a weapon called the Dragonator. It's a gigantic spike that's sitting out of the tip of this boat. And we're going to launch it right into the side of Zora Madros when our barrier health appears, which is right after this step. 1, 2. There it is. All right. So earlier, remember when we made the high metal greaves? It's these attacks here that the high metal greaves makes better. It increases their damage by like a factor of 50%, which makes it, it goes from 180 to 270. Makes them a lot better. Ideally, we'll finish this in 5 cannons, so after we shoot this, but since I had yellow sharpness on that 3rd core, I don't think we'll actually finish it in 5, and it'll be like 5.5 or 6. But either way, we load up this cannon and we shoot it. Last one. Oh, yep, it finished it right there. That's the voice line that finishes it. This is perfect damage. And onwards, 146.34. Seems good. We take everything here because that's that commendation is another upgrade material. But all in all, we are cruising right now. This is a great pace. Other than that one cart to Diablos, it's a great pace. All right, we are going to do an upgrade here. We're gonna make our switch axe better. Perfect. It's literally that fast. I'm also gonna check right here too, just to make sure. Yeah, I didn't have any extras there. I just wanted to make sure since I didn't keep, since I used an extra shock trap, it's a little hard to anticipate how that'll affect the run. I mean, obviously you have one less, but do you have it crafted is really like the thing that I was worried about there. So I just wanted to check it really quick, and it's easier to do it there than at the tent here. Especially because, like, we aren't going to eat on this quest. We're just going to straight up run to this Pookie Pookie. So this is the beginning to high rank. We did it, guys. We got out of low rank. We got out of the tutorial. Welcome to high rank. High rank means a couple different things. It means monsters are stronger. It means they deal more damage. It means they have more health. Some of their AI changes. They get new moves. A lot of different things. A lot of different things can happen in high rank now. But before we could really experience it, we have to do track gathering. So the monster tracks on the ground was a new mechanic that they added in World, and they really, really, really wanted people to be forced to do it. So these are the required track gathering sections. This is the first one that's called Rathian. The tracks can spawn in 3 patterns. This one's fixed, right, on this Pookie Pookie expedition. But tracks can spawn in 3 patterns. There's 4 monsters that you have to gather tracks for in total. So that means there's 12 patterns that you have to memorize. You have to know how they start and then how to execute them. We recently just made the tutorial on how to do that on a 4-year-old game. All right, so it's in Rage Roar.
Tutorial for an hour and 45 minutes. Good lord.
Oh, I mean, it's not that long. 1, 2.
You call low rank the tutorials.
Oh, yeah. But yes, no, yeah. Most people joke about that, right? With low rank, is that, you know, it's the beginning of the game, right? They teach you. It's really not. I should be able to get this. And that, I think, is 1 extra ZSD. It wasn't really. I'm gonna get hit by that. That's okay. Just wait here. You have iframes when you're standing up from an attack like that. It's called riser iframes. So we take advantage of those sometimes. Uh-oh. Last proc, please. I'm happy I went and I got extra stuff. Gosh, that delayed hitbox. This is a problem. So that trank time is just ticking down. All right, there we go. But we're good. I'm gonna need to get lucky later. I'm out of thunderbugs. I should have more in inventory. In box inventory. But yeah, when things go wrong, you need to like make up for it. This is where the run kind of, you know, tests you and your knowledge of the game, right? We're gonna take everything from here because we want a Pookie Pookie sack. We got one. Good. That's gonna be for our cat weapon for the very last quest. Turn my fan on. 2 computers running at the same time does not make for a cold room.
Let me know when I'm good to do a thing, Bagel.
Yeah, go for it right now. Actually, right now is a really good time.
Cool deal. We have a $20 donation from Brimstone with no comment. Thank you for your contribution to Save the Children. That went to the objectively wrong decision of saving the animals.
Wow.
So Save is ahead about $23 now. And that also went towards Hollow Knight's Path of Pain. We're actually only about $22 away from meeting that incentive. And then we've got $90 left to go on the randomized lever placement incentive. Those are the last 2 incentives for the marathon. We've got $230 to go to our goal. So now is a great time for me to give the obligatory, if everybody in chat watching was able and willing to donate $10, we would meet our goal in about 2 minutes. We don't want anybody to donate beyond their means, so only if you're able to. But I figured I would throw out that little fun math for you. And as a reminder, DogPoundUkraine, run by DogPoundSpeedrunning, benefits Save the Children and their Ukraine relief efforts to help children during the current crisis in the Ukraine. All donations go straight to them, and all donations are appreciated by DogPoundSpeedrunning, by Save the Children, and by the children in Ukraine.
10. I'm just doing some counting here. I'm going to explain this a little bit afterwards. But this is the required track gathering. We have this little progress bar that we have to fill, 11, 12. And like I said, 4 monsters, 3 patterns each, and we need to gather a specific amount. For Pink Rathian, we have to gather 40. We gather 6 on the first part of the quest. Hold on, I just need to do this really quick. We gather in total 6 on the Pookie Pookie quest, and then defeating the high rank Anjanath later will award us 4, so we only need 30 in this actual section. The pattern that I just got will give me 18. Don't save. And then now we're just going to relaunch, we're going to reload this area by launching an optional quest from the handler here. It's a neat little, option that they added in the game. When you go out on an expedition, you can also launch quests from the camp, and we take advantage of that, saving a load to reset the track pattern that's here. So no tracks here, tells me it's pattern 1 or 2. So I slide down here. The last pattern that I got was a 2. This one's a pattern 1. Which is kind of unfortunate because that means I have to run all the way over here to start the pattern, and I need 12 more points. And this one has 20 spread out into two 10-point sections, which it takes a while to get to the second 10-point section. But it happens, right? RNG be like that, huh? So we'll lose a little time here just out of this RNG, but track pattern RNG is wild, honestly. It's 20, 21. 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. You'd think after doing this for 4 years, 27, 28, I would know the patterns like perfectly, but I still make mistakes to this day. So I always count. So we'll just need these 2 right here, and then we will be able to leave and go and fight high rank Anjanath. All right, high rank Anjanath is a cool hunt. It doesn't have a cutscene, just like the Legiana one, but its spawn locations. It has 3 of them. Always put it in the same area. Just determining, depending on which one we get, is how fast we can start the script. But what's nice is that the script is the same every single time. Alright, just gotta talk to this guy really quick. We're gonna do some inventory management, which I'm gonna just kind of play it safe here. I'm gonna restock on a lot of things, and then we're gonna go on this quest. We're gonna take that, we're gonna take all those thunderbugs, we're gonna take all of this, and that should be good. Alright. Anjanath. Yeah, wish me luck. This either goes really well or really poorly. If I miss input at any time, it goes really poorly. It is about 90 seconds of just perfect inputting and perfect positioning and, micro adjustments. But besides that, it should just go really well. We're going to start with a Pitfall Trap into Grounded ZSD. After that Grounded ZSD, Clutch Claw ZSD to get a Clagger Chain of 4. And then after that, we're going to get a Head Break, which then we're going to flash the monster, stop him from moving, put another trap beneath him, and then do it again for 2 more ZSDs. We're just going to kind of position ourselves in a way that will grab his attention and pull him over here. He's going to fall into that trap. Perfect.
I guess one question I got for you, Bagel, is how precise is a lot of the stuff that you're doing? I know a lot of speedruns have stuff that's usually pixel or frame perfect.
It's mostly timing. 2. Like if I don't count to 2 there, I can't keep this chain going. And then I'm also counting to 5 when I start this. Or, excuse me, to 11. We're just going to do that flash because we are out. I need to make that. And then he should just stand perfectly still and fall in that. Ooh, that's such a weird position. Like, this stuff kind of happens. His body just landed in a really weird way. Ooh, I did not want to do that. But it's okay. We adjust. I did not mean to click that button at all. That's wasting a flash that could be very much needed. But now that we got both pods right there and that clagger, we secure this easily. So that means I don't have a flash for the beginning of Rathian, which means I have to do the old wallbang strat. Yeah, I wanted to save that flash because I only needed one on the Rathian that we're about to go and fight. I'm trying to think, is there any within 4 seconds of right here? No, there aren't. Yeah. That was just a misinput on my part. But like even stuff like that, right? Like it's precise in like the amount of equipment that we grab. But mostly it's plus or minus like a half a second usually on how accurate we want to be. And like messing that up just ever so slightly can, you know, lose an entire script. Which I adjusted there a little bit. I got a part break a little early on the third ZSD. And you would not want to see that. It just means I got a... I'm actually going to go here just as a backup. Play it safe. Yeah, just to play it safe. But the part break on the third ZSD just means I got an unlucky blast proc on the first. So you adjust to that, right? I already had the flashes equipped, so I was able to flash it really quickly so I could get that other ZSD in and then keep the clagger chain going. But then after that, you know, you have to figure out what to do next. So this quest starts a little differently. This one starts with what's called a drunk bird. It's a RNG kind of mechanic that can happen in high rank quests, but this one's always forced to kind of like teach you that drunk birds are a thing. Every quest that we've gone on so far has always started us at the camp, except for this one. This one's going to start us out in the field, immediately adjacent to the monster. Oop, I missed that dodge. So this is already unlucky, right? She's flying, she does this tail spin. I've already gotten bad AI. I don't have flashes to take advantage of flying. When a flying wyvern, you know, flies, you can flash it out of the air. So I'm just trying to get to the first kind of control that I can get on the monster here, right? Which is this wall bang. Trying to get that dunk out of the air, and I got it. So this is now unscripted and just full micro adjustment. I'm just kind of like watching her and her AI and seeing what she's doing and adjusting to it. That's actually really lucky. Just want to position myself in a way that these red guys on the ground, they're called Gajalakas. They throw knives and bombs that can do like paralysis, sleep, big explosions and stuff. And we just want to make sure we are not a part of that. The other thing that's going to happen here too is that she's going to enrage, and then another monster called the Legiana is going to show up. We just want to pull her out of this area entirely. I have an extra pitfall trap that I'm going to use here. I would normally use a flash, but since I don't have one to flash her out of the air here, I'm just going to use this pitfall. Since I had it extra, head flail pushed me out of the way. That feels great. I should be able to get a clagger after this. Perfect. 1, 2. Alright, first pod. I need to be really careful here now, because if she leaves, I have no way of stopping her. Whoa, what was that turn? Just giving me bad AI here. Oh my gosh, she keeps stepping away. Ah! You just can't do anything about that. That was just really unlucky. And now I'm just getting really bad AI. The bite AI I really can't do too much about. It's not exploitable. I just need to keep her on the ground. I am going to die now. Oh my gosh, she keeps flying. I'm gonna try to pre-trank. You need to get out of the air. She should land into that. I'm not going to hit her to get her to land. Perfect. All right, good. So I pre-tranked her there because I only saw the one pod come off of her, so I wasn't sure if she was cap ready yet. And since I didn't have any flashes, I couldn't, you know, immediately take her out of the air. That's just on me for not playing well earlier. Like, we spent a lot on Rathalos. I used like 2 or 3 extra on Rathalos because of that Tobi Kadachi, and then that one accidentally on Anjanath, which is really all I needed there, right? There's an opener that we do to we flash Rathian first to get a tenderize on the leg to make it easier to trip her, which is infinitely faster than what I just did, right? You more or less just lock her in place. You get a trip, you ZSD clagger the head, and then you get another trip. Like, it's just real good. All right. Track gathering. This is one of the reasons why a lot of people don't learn this speedrun. We have 3 monsters that we have to gather tracks for. That is a pattern 2. Green, correct me. So we have 3 different areas that we're going to go to, and depending on how the beginning of the quest starts, we have like ways to identify which pattern we're on. So I knew immediately there that I was on pattern 2, so I'm just going to start doing the movement for pattern 2. Not only do you have to know how each of them starts, you also have to know where to go to gather them. Every Elder Dragon, which is these 3 monsters that we're going to gather tracks for, requires 20 research points to finish, unlike the Rathian, which needed 40. I'm at 3 so far. So we're just going to run around here. The footprints are worth 1 point, and the special tracks are worth 2. So you'll just see me kind of counting as I go along. 4. These are static, patterns. It's just which pattern you get is kind of based on RNG. 5. 6. 7. 8. 9. 10, just want to make sure I didn't miss that one. How are the... has Bagel talked about how the categories are set up? I have not. So we have partial 90% categories for this speedrun too, because it's a really long speedrun, and sometimes people don't have that much time, especially people playing on console that can't skip the hour and 3 minutes of cutscenes. We have partial 90% categories. The 2 Zora Madros fights are partial 90% categories. So it's just another way to try the speedrun, right? 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Wait, am I dumb? Did I miss 2? Or did I just miscount? We're gonna find out right now. Nope. Alright, I just miscounted. We're good. Oh my gosh. All right, on to the next. That's just like a quick way that I can just double check, right? I can see how many research points I've gathered just on this expedition. It's a nice little backup in case you lose track, which I did. I didn't count that windswept before I fast traveled back to Camp 1. That's what put me at 12, not 10. But just double check, right? Marathon setting. We don't want to do anything accidentally, right? Because coming back here and finding just 2 tracks can lose upwards of 20, 30, 40 seconds. It can be real bad. Oh yeah. Each weapon has its own category too, as Gig's kind of leading on there. That's kind of like a soft rule, a pseudo rule. It's not hard coded into the game leaderboards. But each weapon is technically its own record, because not every weapon is comparable. And then there's also a weapon for multi-weapon, which is what we're doing, right? After this, before we go and fight Nergigante, we're going to use Sword and Shield. So this is pattern, I think this is also pattern 2, which I'm at 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This might be pattern 3, I can't actually remember. We just changed the names of all of them. 10, 11. 12. This is 3, okay. So it's the slow one. 13. 14. So we're not getting too incredibly lucky with tracks so far. Getting slow one on Teostra tracks. But yeah, after this, we only have 5 more hunts? 6 more hunts? 6 more hunts. Goose, please. You're gonna enrage on me. Yep. I have to just kind of take a second here. I grabbed that one there. 2, 3. Yeah, okay. Just making sure that I didn't miss a pattern there. The Basil Geese is what's called an invader. He can sometimes appear on this quest. Devil Joe can appear on the next one. It's just a high rank mechanic. But you see how invasive that is, right? Like, it takes control of your camera, the monster enrages onto you. It's just really invasive, and even that just loses time. And then that gives me another 50 research points for spotting them, so I have to subtract 50 from that just for spotting a new monster. Alright, 1 or 2, or 1 or 3, excuse me. So 1 is the fastest pattern, 3 is the slowest, and they both kind of start out the same way. So let's see if we got it. I think we just got 3. 1, 2, 3. Yep, pattern 3. Unfortunate. So we got the 2 slowest patterns. 4, 5. 6, 7, 8, 9, yeah, I'm good on that. 10, 11. There's backup flashes here. 12, in case I want them. But I don't need them for SNS. I'm at 12. Make sure we don't get ran over by a Rodobon. Okay, he's already down there. 13, 14, 15, 16. I think I gathered the right one. Good. 17, 18, 19, and one more right here. 20. Alright, now for Green's favorite part of the speed run, Elder's Recess. So Nergigante is no exception to the Elder tracks, but we only have to gather his tracks once because we broke his horns on Zora 2. We have enough research points to just do his gathering once, and the first time you visit the Elder's Recess, the gathering is always the same. This is another kind of like Mercer skip. This is a Chadmiral skip. This is the Admiral. Everyone calls him the Chadmiral. Because, I mean, look at him. He's just the coolest dude. He doesn't need a weapon. He just fights with his bare hands. But this is, once again, just a forced walking portion. He has a walk radius around him, so we're going to kind of take advantage of just how this works, question mark. I actually don't even know how it even works, but because I walked into him right there, it actually made his walk radius smaller. So I walked into it and I left it. Now I have the ability to run. And his walk radius is a little bit smaller now. We'll wait for audio cue. Alright, I played it a little bit safe. I probably could have ran a little bit sooner. So instead of walking all of this section, you would literally be forced to walk with him. This entire section if you didn't skip him. This is the faster Chadmiral skip too. There's a slower one that I used to do, which just required jumping down there, right? But normally, they want you to walk this entire section. It takes so long. And what's really funny too, is that someone, at one point, had world record walking this entire thing because they didn't know Chadmiral skip existed. That's how unoptimized this game has been for years. We've gotten it to a point where it's pretty optimized, right? Where we've eked out pretty much every time save that we can, and everything's pretty much left to RNG. And you know, perfect execution. But we would still be walking, right? And like still be walking. But we can just skip all that, hit this cutscene trigger, and then continue on into the Elder's Recess. So in addition to gathering Nergigante tracks here, we're also got to spot 3 monsters. It has some cool movement associated with it because the cutscenes reposition you. All the cutscenes in the game actually happen in engine. They're called like stages. The modders tried to explain it to me once before, but it doesn't really make much sense to me. But every cutscene happens in engine, right? That's how you can have a customized character in the in all the cutscenes. So it changes our position in the world. This first one's really easy. We just dodge this roar by holding back and left and just walk away from it, more or less. I mean, they're all pretty easy, right? But I always find that so funny. The next one is Dota Gamma. This one's really cool. Green really likes this one. We're going to go and interact with this. We're going to gather this spike first and then dodge into the cutscene. The cutscene's going to reposition us then back in front of the spike, and we just put the Ghillie Mantle on and grab the spike. We could drop that rock, but it loses a second. That's our version of kill the Dota Gamma. But now that we have that, we just move on to the next area, which is to spot Lavazioth. And once again, because cutscenes happen in engine and change our position, we can use this to move to the other side of this zone. Cutscenes also do weird things with your mantles. The cutscenes, if your mantle is expended, automatically resets it. So we can re-equip the Ghillie Mantle immediately, whereas normally it'd have a 60-second, 120-second timer. And then just a little optimization here. Once we gather that, we can just leave by menu, and investigation complete. It's very, very cool, just little optimized movement and taking advantage of how the cutscenes actually like reposition you and stuff. All right, so we are about to go and do Nergigante. If you had any other announcements or any other donations that you want to read off, now would be the time, because from now until the end of the run, it's pretty rapid fire.
All right, then I'll get a big one out. We don't have any new donations at this time, so I will just remind everyone that we have about, I'd say, 3.5 hours left of the marathon, and we are relatively close to our goal. $230 to go to hit our goal. I think that's very attainable. DogPoundSpeedrunning, hosting DogPound Ukraine, is raising money for Save the Children's Ukraine Relief Fund. Millions of children are dying from preventable causes, face poverty, violence, disease, and hunger. They're caught up in war zones and disasters they did nothing to create, and they're denied an education and other basic rights owed to them. During the war in Ukraine, Save the Children is supporting children still in Ukraine with online mental health sessions and distributing items to families. The Ukraine crisis has already forced at least 1.5 million people from their homes. Over 400,000 children live in the conflict zones. Child poverty rates are up more than 57% in the Donetsk and Luhansk regions of Ukraine. And since the beginning of the conflict, over 750 education facilities have become damaged. Any and all donations and contributions are greatly appreciated. At least 7 hours, thank you. Any and all donations are greatly appreciated, not just by us here at DogPound Speedrunning, but also by Save the Children and the children in the Ukraine who will receive the benefit of their aid. So once again, we ask nobody donate beyond their means, but anything and everything that you are able and willing to donate is greatly appreciated, and it goes to a wonderful cause. With that, Bagel, I'll leave the rest of the run to you.
All right. So this is the first of 5 Elder Dragons, Nergigante. This is actually a really big wall in just people's base game experience, just like their first casual playthrough, and we're going to trivialize it. We've switched over to the weapon Sword and Shield because it has a really cool attack that's called Perfect Rush. I'm just gonna let it speak for itself. This cool little opener here is a wallbang into a Tenderize. SNS has this attack called Claw Uppercut, which counts as 1 Tenderize, and then we do it again so we can fully Tenderize apart with a light weapon. And that also drops a Thorn Pod. Just need to kind of take advantage of some AI right there to get this second wallbang off. And then now we have Thorn Pod on there so we can get a KO. Alright, so he's going to roar here. We're gonna get that stagger, and then a KO. 1, 2, 3. A little early on that, but that's okay. I'm gonna get that horn break and that spike break. The spike break's really important. Nergigante has 3 phases he can be in. No spikes, white spikes, or black spikes. White spikes are ideal because whenever they're broken, he topples. There's a really big, long, falling animation. Oh, hello? Please clip the tail, thank you. 1, 2, 3. And perfectly timed for that clagger. So that's why we like PR. It has a lot of part break value on it, so it makes it really easy getting these breaks. And the timing on the weapon does stuff like this. Oh, whoops, mashed it. That's okay. You're in position to drop that. 1, 2, 3. A little too soon on that, but I should be able to just wait for a... Yep, there we go. That'll tenderize this arm for me. We're getting white spikes back. I'm just going to make sure I time this right. Oh, I missed. That's unfortunate. So that happens. The angle of the ground just kind of kept me underneath Nergigante's head. I'm going to try to bait out some AI here so I can actually get a part break. There we go. And now we're going to try to break this arm. Go in, come out. There we go. 1, 2, 3. Get on the ground. 1, 2, 3. Stops him from moving. And then that should give us enough time to get white spikes back. Unfortunate. But now he's in de-aggro, so I have a Crystal Burst on me to stop him from leaving. Gotta kind of play careful here. He's in hand slam AI. Whew, that almost hit me. That also almost hit me. Alright, good AI right there. 1, 2, 3. He's almost dead, though. Nice. Alright, that was really good. Not the cleanest that I've ever done that fight. We can more or less lock him in the in like this constant topple lock, right? Where we're always breaking white spikes and always getting claggers to stop his movement and regrow white spikes and keep that lock going. That's taking advantage of the behind-the-scenes kind of values that the game uses to determine when a monster would flinch, clagger, you know, fall down, whatever. And then we're taking advantage of that even further by using the high part break value of this attack of PR, of Perfect Rush, to break those parts when we need to. Because it has such a high motion value associated with it and such a high part break value, the attack is really good for breaking parts and starting claggers. And we're going to use it for the rest of the run to just do that, except for on one monster, Valhazak, which is just an entire, cross your fingers and pray and PR into everything and hope you don't die. But we'll get there. So Nergigante gives us our last upgrade, so we're going to take the rewards there. And get his Immortal Dragon Scale, I think is what it's called. And that's the last upgrade that we need from Nergigante. Also, before we went on the quest, we made a weapon for our Palico. That was the Poison Pookie Pookie Bow for the Palico weapon. It's the high-ranked version of it, so it does more damage. And we're saving that for the last fight of the game, Xeno Jiva. Xeno has a really low threshold to be poisoned and takes a lot of damage from poison. So if the cat can get off 2 poisons, which is usually what it does on average, it really, really cuts down a lot of time, like over a minute on the fight. And if we can do what we do right, we can make sure that Xenojiva doesn't move the entire time. I will be silent during that fight. but it is also 2 phases, like the other big fights in the game. It has a smaller arena for phase 1 and then a much larger arena for phase 2. I was not ready to press that. But the fight goes by really fast. We're going to try to do it under 6 minutes. Should we do our weapon upgrade here? I sometimes forget this and then cry. But we are good. I didn't forget it, and I didn't cry. What we're doing right now, though, is we're talking to each of these NPCs to unlock the track gathering for the other Elder Dragons. But we already did that. So every time we get it, it says, hey, gather tracks, and then it completes it, and then we got to go and talk to this dude. So the movement here looks like a little weird, right, as far as, you know, of a game completion and a game design sense, because the game doesn't anticipate us to already have done it. So now we're going to talk to the Chief Ecologist 3 times. This is just optimal mashing. It's not even mashing, though, because you have to do specific, you know, A or B inputs. So you don't accidentally mash into another menu. And then now we're going to talk to all these people again. Once again, looks really weird. It's because we did things out of order. All right, so we're going to go and fight Kushala Daora. So I made a brief mention about this earlier about a Clagger and a Stagger being on Rathalos' head, which makes it really hard to script and just fighting it. You know, we have to like use trips and flashes and stuff to keep fighting it. Certain statuses, certain effects on monsters are only on one body part, or on multiple body parts, or they share multiple body parts. For Kushala Daora, the Clagger is not on the head. It's actually on the body, on the forearms, on the neck, everywhere else but the head. The head only has one threshold, and it's the head topple threshold. We're going to take advantage of that, like, wildly. Speedrunners have been doing this since this game came out, and we actually finally, Greed and I finally taught ourselves how to do this in this speedrun. So the beginning of this is going to start with a flash and a wallbang. This monster is trivialized by the fact that flashes work all the time in high rank. And we have plenty to do this fight with if I do this fight well. But it starts off with a flash to get the monster onto the ground. We're going to claw uppercut onto his head and hit his head 3 times to wallbang him into the wall. Easier said than done, because it requires me unequipping the flashes and making sure that I have stone and doing all these things. Just going to slow down here for a second. There we go. But I'm going to be more or less quiet for this. Alright, good. So that tenderizes the head. That gets me the wallbang. I re-equip this. 1, 2... And that starts the head knockdown. Ooh, I overwrote it with that shield slam into its head. I overwrote the head threshold, so I missed the topple. So now I have to get a new one. That's just what you get for playing too good. It's gonna be point blank. There we go. Just wait on that a little bit. We started a little early. What is happening here? I'm doing too much damage, it seems. See if I can get it back. Nope. I don't know why I made that. I am at first pod, so I'm under 45, or I'm under like 55% health or something. Alright, there's the head knockdown. And there's the KO. 1, 2. And I didn't dodge that roar. This is unfortunate. Move! Alright, good. I didn't get clipped by that. He's not at 2 pods, so I'm not really worried about him leaving. Oh, hey, Gus. Guess what? He just died. He left immediately. Man, make me eat my words. Alright, that's unfortunate. So that means he was under 30% because he was getting retreat AI. That's just what happens if you lose the head topple. So this area is really unfortunate. Not only does it take a minute to get up here, like literally 1 minute to get up here, it also is his den. And what will happen is... Oh, I didn't jump up there. It's okay. I was kind of playing it safe because I wanted him to go to sleep first. All right, good. But what will happen is that these little windswept gashes on the ground, they start to erupt in tornadoes in this entire area when he enrages. So this area is awful to fight him in. I didn't even get there. I want to make sure we push the ball onto the right side of the head. I was really hoping that that would kill him, but it didn't. Oh, come on. That's a unfortunate thing that just happened right there. I can't believe that didn't topple it. I don't know what happened to his head topple. Alright. Good recovery. He didn't go enraged in here, which means we don't have to scream and cry and get absolutely tossed around by this monster. So that's good. For what that was, that's okay. Ideally, he wouldn't transition, but we just, you know, got a combination of a little unlucky with head flails repositioning us, which means we overdamage the head. Overdamaging the head, it sounds like it would be a good thing, but it means we miss those thresholds, which means stuff like that happens, right? Because once you meet the threshold, the next attack resets it, and we want to meet that threshold when he can be toppled again. I don't think I make the Might Seeds, but I have 5, so 10 seconds? Yeah, I should make the Might Seeds too. So next is Teostra. Teostra has 2 different modes that he can be in, fire mode or blast mode. No, I don't make it. Sad. Unfortunate. But he can be in 2 different modes, blast mode and fire mode. Depending on which mode he is in, changes how difficult the fight is. Fire mode is by far the more difficult one, but blast mode you get 1 shot more. But as long as you do things correctly, you just don't get hit, and the monster doesn't get to fight you. But fire mode he has an aura around him, a fire aura, that will constantly deal damage to you. And it is very unfortunate because we don't have that much health as it is, and we don't have fire resistance, which would help, negate some of that. We just stand there and get baked, and it's not like we have a lot of healing resources or things that bring us back to max health instantly. We just kind of deal with the fire and pray it doesn't kill us, or we have to stop attacking and heal, right? Which is the ideal thing to do. Blast mode's a lot better, makes the opener easier, and a lot of his AI is a little more predictable, but still the same kind of problem is that then he makes these little blast clouds that if you get hit by one, you die. They're very easy to avoid, but they're also very easy to stand directly into the middle of and die because you want to be really greedy, like me. But we'll do our best to not die to this thing. Eat our Might Seed before we go in here, and we're gonna have a cool little opener. Nice, we got the dodge. We got the claw. Nice, we're doing it. 1, 2, 3. This is to set up a mount. Is this what we can do that? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, good. We got the finisher. And we also know that we are in blast mode. See, like, the little, like, red particles instead of a, you know, cloak of actual fire on him. He's got these little red particle effects instead. I don't think this actually works. It does. Let's go. And that starts our Clagger lock. Please! Whew! His hitbox almost started. That's gonna be a Clagger. So this one shares the head threshold with Clagger and a head topple, so you'll see it alternate. Please! We are getting very lucky with this. His head position isn't great because we're next to the edge of the arena now, but this has been good so far. Ooh, that's a bad reposition. That actually works. 1, 2... So he's a little out of bounds here, which is really bad for us. Yeah, that's really bad for us. Yeah, and that hits us. All right, so his position right here just really didn't do us any favors. Oh gosh, that was very close to hitting me. And that was also very close to hitting me. In. Ooh, I did not do that. I did a guard slash. Just be careful here. All right, we're good. Yeah, we got caught in the armpit. And I'm too soon. Started that, that falling shield bash way too soon. We're just going to reposition here, and I'm going to heal. This fight's actually going really well. That's that blast cloud that I said that would instantly kill me, and I let him attack the ground. Pull him back over here. Be careful. Yeah, I got the wing there. Oh my goodness, that was very fast. That was good. I always just kind of try to focus on it and usually lose track of how much damage I deal. When you break the horns, I believe it's 20% for all the Elder Dragons, but I can't remember. That was a really good Teostra. We'll check the time when we get the Might Seeds at the very end here. I just want the extras. We'll be able to pick up 4 more too on Val Hazak, but I like having the extras on Xeno'jiva because during any downtime we just pop another one. I should have 3 of those. Yep, that should be plenty. We don't need to grab that. We'll grab this honey because we are scared. And it's free, right? We have the 60 seconds here to kind of gather anything. We really don't need to do anything else, and carving the monster for 3 parts doesn't give us a chance at any of its armor. It's incredibly unlikely. I've done this run hundreds of times, and I have never gotten an armor piece out of it for any of these monsters. Once I got a Nergigante waist, I think it was, and then usually you get the high rank Zora Madros chest. We're just gonna sell all of this stuff. Whoops! Accidentally saved. Reset. Saved the game. It's got to reset now. Can't take that kind of time loss. All right, so last is the Hellish Fiend Val Hazak. Like I said, he has this effect called Effluvia. The Effluvia is just an AoE effect that he also attacks with. It's his beam attack. When you break apart, it lets out a big cloud of it. Effluvia is the worst mechanic in the entire game because it's inherently punishing to you get an immediate punish for doing something well. which is my least favorite thing. You can also get Effluvia'd the frame before getting hit by an attack, right? Which would have your health, and then you just get hit by an attack, which kills you. So it's a fantastic one-shot mechanic. The only way to combat it, there are mantles that do it that we don't get. And you have null berries, and then you can also use things like max potions and stuff like that. So there are ways to combat it, which are inherently slow, right? Like getting those things, doing those things are just inherently slow, and we are not going to worry about that. We're actually just going to Unga Bunga skill our way through it, because after we break enough of its parts, its aura goes away. You can do that. A lot of people don't know you can do that. But once you break its parts, its aura inherently goes away, and it doesn't happen as much. Oh, whoops. That went right through him. It's okay, though. As long as I don't get bonked. I got bonked. So I wanted to be on the monster there, so I got put into a position to bait out an attack here. That might work. Let's find out. Oh, yeah, we're right next to the wall. Just want to get a wall bang in, which is a good opener to start, so you can get a head tenderize. And he drops pierce pods, which can be really handy in this fight. But it should be close to enraging. It also has part break topples on both of its arms and its chest. That attack is very scary. It will kill me. And that attack has a hitbox at the front of the monster, which makes it really easy to avoid. It did clip me. I was wondering if I was far enough underneath it that it wouldn't. So, generally speaking, I don't want to fight him on the slope. I actually want to fight him up on the flat ground, because he has one attack that I can take advantage of when he's on the ground, but not when he is on a slope. Ooh, that was very close to clipping me. Uh-oh. So I get hit once. You can see that I got Effluvia'd, and the Effluvia happens before the hit. So instead of being at half health, I'm at a quarter health. I just immediately have to take care of that, right? But once I kind of attack his chest some and get some of these part breaks in, I accidentally just broke the other hand too, and that paralysis is a little early. Good, I didn't get PR bug there. But these chest staggers are what I want the most of, right? Ooh, I can't believe I did not hit that. Ooh, I can't believe that did hit me. A little piece of high-level SNS gameplay there is turning your PR after a roll. And then if I can flinch him here, dang. If I flinch him during that animation, it just drops his entire cloak. So that entire animation is just designed to build up that cloak, and if you can flinch him during it... Uh-oh! Ooh, we got very lucky. That tail attack will kill me. At any health. And I wasn't even at full. It would have 100% just murdered me right there. So we got very lucky not getting hit by it. It was a part break on, like, the back. Ooh, please don't get me. No, okay. Once again, we just have to wait here. All right. Because our position there was baiting out that tail attack. And if we're Effluvia'd during this, it drains our health. So you have to be really careful. I'm going to take that as an advantage to heal. I don't like my positioning right now. This attack is great if I'm in a good spot for it, which I'm not. Because I'm hitting this wing, which kind of sucks. The white numbers are generally bad. I can't believe I took this long to explain that. The white numbers are generally bad. It's the orange numbers that we like to see. Good flinch. We're going to grab that for PR Slinger Burst. Ooh, okay, we're getting another one of these. Let's go. So the back hop has iframes on it, which we take advantage of all the time to kind of set ourselves up for to take advantage of attacks like that. All right, so it's transitioning now. Zero transition against Valhazak is like always the dream, but it is very hard to do. We're about at the 5-minute marker right here, like 4.5 minutes. Dropping these rocks in here are still going to do 5% of the monster's health, right? It's a big boon, and since he's low enough health, if he comes in here and I don't immediately hit this, he's going to try to leave. But we are good. And then we're just going to position ourselves for when he gets up to drop the next one. Something blocked it. All right, good. How was that? 610. It's good. That's on pace. 610 is good. 610 is on pace. That was a good Valhazak fight. Despite getting effluviated those couple times, you expect 2 or 3, right? You would hope for 0. I've gotten 0 once and gotten a low 5, and I will never get that ever again. But it's definitely possible. It's like, it's there, it exists. You can see, like, we use a lot of healing. Like, this is the only place that we use healing, you know, or like are required to, because just existing in the same room with it hurts us. So we restock up on that stuff because the next fight is the last fight. Next one's the last one. And that's Xeno'jiiva. Oh, I want that. So Xeno'jiiva is kind of the boss monster. Not kind of. Is the boss monster of the base game experience of this game. And he likes to make the ground on fire. He turns the floor into lava. No matter what. Right? We could, you know, we hand lock him and stuff like that, and he will still turn the ground into lava, which is really unfortunate for us because, once again, we don't have a lot of health. We are susceptible to Fire Blight. It ticks away at us, and what we need to do is continually attack him. We're going to be timing PRs and positioning ourselves perfectly to make sure that we continue the hand lock. What that means, I mean, you'll see it here shortly what that means. But essentially, like we were doing on Kushala and on the other monsters on Teostra, we are trying to deal enough damage to the part in order to keep him stuck in that same animation. So we're going to deal that damage while he's in that animation, and then the moment that animation ends, deal the last little bit of damage that we need, and it starts the animation all over again. PR inherently also does just a bunch of damage. So it is, you know, this is the best way to fight him. Outside of like Pierce, you know, bowgun fully optimized and stuff like that, right? Like, which we are not going to get to. A decent Pierce build in this game is just really difficult to do at this kind of like speedrun setting. So SNS, next best thing. We're going to eat for that extra health and the attack up large from the meal, and we're going to grab these stones. These stones are super, super important. They're going to enable us to continue getting this hand lock. I am more or less going to be quiet for this, and this is the last hunt, so, you know, I'll call out time when we get there. It looks like we're going to go a little bit over estimate. Oh, well, no, I guess estimate was like 3 hours, right? So probably not.
255.
So we're going to be 255, yeah. Okay, so we're going to be like right at it then. All right, so this is actually good AI. We're trying to get him underneath this rock. And we're just kind of baiting him. I'm just gonna bait out the runnies. Oh no, we got stuck in this loop. He gave me good AI, but I wasn't ready for it, and I positioned weirdly. There we go. We used to drop 3 rocks in here. Whew. Now we only drop 1 because Switch Axe SNS is just good. We're looking for the first hand topple, and then we can start our hand lock. But he's giving me really annoying just positioning right now. All right, there we go. So it didn't break, which is fine. Once I go up here and hit it, it's gonna break, and then we're gonna have the full hand topple like ready. He gave me bad AI here though. Man, just bad positioning. I'm too close to this wall, so I can't really position myself for the PR. And now he's just turning to try to get to the cat. Oh my gosh. Rush PR2. That should still get it. Perfect. So remember earlier when you were asking about frame perfect tricks? This is the closest thing this game has to a frame perfect trick. It is precise timing, precise positioning. You have to have just the utmost control in like readjusting. That's phase 1. So that's not a great phase 1 because the AI that he kind of gave me and the position that he was in, but we are good. So now phase 2, we're going to try to get into this hand lock as fast as possible. He gave me really bad AI to start out with. That didn't result in a topple, so that's good. So I'm going to do this. And topple. Got it. There's a lot of micro adjustment that's happening here. I'm actually aiming this. I'm not just like swinging it wildly. I just missed it right there. And I'm gonna miss it there. That's fine. Need to heal anyways. But this is kind of the area that I like to fight him in, which is like this like little hole over here. I just gotta be really careful about getting pinned against a wall for an attack or something. Not really happy about that. Have to panic dive that. Just getting really weird movement right now, but it's okay. This is about what's expected. Oh, I'm dead. I'm alive. Divine Blessing, thank you. So that move kills me unless I get that Divine Blessing proc, which is a chance to decrease damage. I got very lucky there. Take a second to heal up. We need to get back into our hand lock. Which you can also see the hands deal damage to you. Well, you know, you just get like kind of like tripped and ticked down for damage. So you might not be constantly like hit by these big attacks, but you are being chipped down all the time by these small, you know, insignificant attacks. Oh my gosh, my positioning is so bad right now, and I'm also about to die. Man, it is trying to kill me. It's not being nice at all. I'm not getting lucky with fire. Come on, dog. So the Palico can heal us occasionally, too. Man, my positioning is just slightly off, and I'm also at blue sharpness, and I'm just taking so much damage from this fight. It's just really unfortunate. Like, this is just what, like, the fire damage does, right? And it's kind of RNG how it's going to affect you each time. Because sometimes you get lucky and you fight, you know, not near it. This is super critical. This changes how we fight the monster. Now what we need to be doing is focusing on chest topples. He has a really low chest topple threshold now, which we can get using Powerful Slinger, which he drops a bunch of. So we're going to be looking for a Pierce Pod. Just might be one. Slinger bomb. We should be able to use bomb. There we go. That's a chest topple. And then we're just going to PR the head here. And then now we're going to look for a Pierce Pod. Like, Pierce Pod's ideal because we can aim it directly at his chest. These are good moments that give us a chance just to sharpen and heal ourselves because we can't, you know, obviously be in there. And he's dead. That's time. 253. Oh, whoops. I reset it. 253. That's just how fast it comes sometimes.
GG.
7 minutes and 6 seconds, about a minute and a half slow than what I would like to be. I mean, 5:30 is super fast, and I really wish I could get back there. But 6 minutes is usually what I aim for, somewhere around in there. So about a minute and a half slow. But besides that, I mean, that was a really, really good run. Oh, real good.
Ahead of estimate by about a minute and a half. Good deal.
Yeah. Yeah, it feels good. All right. Well, thank you guys for having me. I really do appreciate that. I love showcasing this game.
Absolutely. Thank you for participating in the marathon. We've got Super Metroid Any Percent coming up next. So I imagine it will transition over to the setup screen here in a minute. But Bagel, you have any last thoughts before we get rolling?
No, not really. Just, you know, guys, hang out, keep watching. Super Metroid's a super fun game to watch. Get it? And you know, if you guys can donate whatever you can, definitely consider it. We're so close to that goal. And if you can't, the best thing you could do, tell a friend about the marathon, right? Go and tell a friend, you know, go message someone like, hey, there's this really cool marathon going on. So definitely, guys, thank you so very much for having me again, and I appreciate it. If you guys want to know more about the run too and get into it, we do have a community Discord. It's all linked on speedrun.com, speedrun.com/MHW and MHWI. But yeah, thank you guys for having me.